the aura stuff only after the head injury.
Okay, all right, cool.
But around objects too, you can almost see like the biofields.
Yeah, like a biofield or an aura. And I would actually even say maybe it's a little bit less of like an aura, but like, you know how like when you put on those old school like blue and red glasses and you would look at a book, certain things would pop compared to others, or it might become more 3D. Dude, the best way I can describe it is that I can see things kind of 3D inside and out. I won 3 of the 5 events, or at least podiumed on it. I actually won psychokinesis, which is moving stuff with your mind or your energy. I actually got second in precognition and second in mindsight. And I wasn't allowed to compete in dowsing or remote viewing, but I tested in the top 5 for both of them, but I don't think they wanted to allow me into every single game.
Greetings, humans. Welcome to today's Multiverse. Today, we are thrilled to feature Ryan Davin. Is that how you say it?
Davian. It's close enough, man.
Davian, yeah. The 2025 PSI Games Champion, testing psychic abilities like remote viewing, precognition, and psychokinesis. He's a Colorado native with 20-plus experiences in racing, including AMA Motocross, Futures wins, Colorado World Long Drive Championship, and pro car racing. Ryan is also a behavioral therapist, clinical social worker, and crisis specialist. His psychic journey, sparked by childhood experiences, a near-death event, and family influences, drives feats in telepathy, animal communication, and spiritual encounters that challenge reality. I know I just said a lot of shit there, everyone, but we're going to try to talk about it all today because Ryan's an amazing guy. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining the Multiverse.
Dude, that was the most impressive intro I think I've ever had. Short of like a Supercross, like, and Ryan Davin, you know what I mean? Dude, yeah. That was the best one.
Well, because I just found out you do MMA, or I wanted to do like a Bruce Buffer. We are live.
Dude, there you go.
Like a whole thing, but I just didn't have it in me. We are also joined by my lovely producer, Megan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay today. Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. So just a little context. I went to Contact in the desert where I first saw Hakeem Isler and Dalia Burgoyne. And then they came on my show. But PSI Games had not happened yet. In fact, Hakeem, who I believe was the organizer, went straight from Contact in the desert to start setting up for PSI Games, and then I had Dalia on after that, and Hakeem as well. But would you start by, before we get into the bio, would you start by telling us what PSI Games is? And you're the champion, man.
Dude, absolutely. Totally. So once again, my name is Ryan Davin. I am the 2025 PSI Games Champion. I won 3 of the 5 events, or at least podiumed on it. I actually won psychokinesis, which is moving stuff with your mind or your energy. I actually got second in precognition and second in mindsight. And I wasn't allowed to compete in dowsing or remote viewing, but I tested in the top 5 for both of them, but I don't think they wanted to allow me into every single game. So
what is the dowsing again? Dalia explained that to
me.
What is
so the dowsing rods are like a pendulum. Of course, it's the one thing I didn't bring with me. I have my table full of all my stuff. So usually folks will use like a dowsing rod or these dowsing sticks or rods or pendulum. I said that the wrong way. I did dowsing rod for this, and sorry.
No worries.
Basically what you're doing is you're trying to look for targets that you're unaware of, right? So whether it be water, gold, metals, lost items, people, do you know what I mean? So it's just another way of getting in tune with yourself. And so it's so I'll kind of go into all of it real quick. So PSI Games 2025, I found out about it in April of 2025. It actually happened the last week of July into August of 2025. I had always kind of knew. Well, let me talk about the PSI Games. I'll get into my other stuff. But so PSI Games happens. I find out about it. I have 2 weeks of testing for it. I think they used this technology, which I'll kind of talk about later. for testing. And so what you did along with the testing is you were on this leaderboard of about 10 to 15 people showing where you were standing, right? And so as you're testing, you're also finding out if you're going to be in the top 5, which are at that time what we're potentially going to be in the games, right? And so you do about 20 tests over 14 days for each event. It's recorded, and basically what it also is it's the background to say, okay, well, is this guy really psychic? Well, okay, well, he did, 20 tests of these, showed these results. Here's his background to it. So, you're for sure what we're saying, this guy is psychic. He not only is saying he's psychic, but he has a background tracking record of it too, going into the Psy Games, if that makes sense.
It does.
Also,
it
just
does make sense.
Regular. Sorry, man, I'm talking. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it also just to bring up and show everybody like where the top competitors were, and to kind of weed out folks who maybe didn't have as strong as abilities. But it also then brought up your top 5. But then also gave you that background to show people that would ask, well, how do you know he's psychic? Well, we have this background of all this testing to prove it.
That makes sense. And then the event itself, where was it held? And just briefly, what did it look like?
Charlottesville, Virginia. It was very close to I forget what the name of the hotel was, but let me just run through you. So we fly in. We go in on Thursday. We do what I call is the track walk. Just because I'm a racer, so I'm used to doing all that. We see all the podiums and all the games that they're going to use. We meet Akeem for the first time. None of the perceptualists ever had met each other. We were just like little names on a scoreboard that we just knew that we were competing against potentially. We see how the games are going to be set up. Everything's super controlled. There's about 30 cameras circulating. There's cameras on you. There's cameras on your game. There's cameras on the entire stage. So everything's got cameras on it, and basically we just kind of get the lowdown of how it's going to work. I'll kind of go into all that stuff a little bit later, but we then go into Friday. Dude, Friday was amazing. It was lectures and keynote speakers, and dude, everybody from like Danny Sheehan to Colonel John Alexander to podcasters to everybody, man. Like it was just everybody. And so me and my wife went and we did all these crazy workshops and bent spoons and forks and did all this fun stuff. And then Saturday was the actual games. We then went to, when we went into the games, right? And so Saturday, nobody had any idea what to expect, other than the only thing we really found out was that psychokinesis was on training. We were training with the computer. So I'm sitting there like trying to focus something on a random number generator on a computer, right? So I'm acting like I'm doing it. But when we get to the games, it's the igloo wheel. And none of us competitors had ever seen an igloo wheel. So that's the biggest thing that comes out that I want you guys to know, is that no one knew what an igloo wheel was for psychokinesis.
I don't know what an igloo wheel is.
You're going to find out. Okay. You're going to find out. So it's a device specifically for it. So we do the games. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm still number 2, like, because there's still the leaderboard that they're using for testing currently. I'm still number 2 in Dowsing, and I didn't get to do Dowsing. So I'm hoping maybe this year I'll get to do it. I was still top 5 for remote viewing, didn't get to do that, but I did, like I said, the mind sight, psychokinesis, and precognition.
Okay.
Man, key things from it. Dahlia does mind sight out of the water, like blows it out of the water, makes the entire room cry between her and her daughter Lidu's.
Was Lidu there?
Lidu was there. Yep, she was there basically the whole time too.
Can you explain mind sight also?
Did you say that one time?
Can you explain mind sight also?
Yeah, I'll go into all of it. I'll even show you guys.
Okay, cool.
So, but like her and her daughter do this telepathy demonstration. Once again, the whole Dahlia got 2 standing ovations. I only got 1, but Dahlia got 2 standing ovations. But it's I'm a competitor. But the point of what I'm trying to make though is that there's these moments, these epiphany moments, right? And if you were a skeptic, if you were a hater on any of the Psy stuff, man. This is a controlled environment. Literally, the Psy Games were you on the stage commentated by teachers and podcasters and influencers on one side. You have basically all the military generals front row, like no joke. Danny Sheehan and his hair was right up front. It's like a main visual of my Psy Games experience. All these political figures up front, right, and military generals, and then the other side were like scientists and some generals and some teachers that were doing the judging on it, right? So, and once again, every game has a camera on it. You have a camera on you. The entire stage has a camera. There's a camera on the crowd. You know what I mean? And man, life-changing experience. I did get a standing ovation when I won psychokinesis, and I was crying. I cried on stage like 4 times. I also had a mindsight moment where I had a triple tie-off battle with another woman named Tammy. From my mind site. And so we like literally did 3 times of back to back, matching each other. And then on the 4th one, I ended up crushing it. So man, and just moments like that. And man, I can tell you, I am a moto dude from Colorado. I was aware of like psychic stuff. Like I'm kind of a ghost or alien guy, but not really psychic. I wasn't even a giant fan of Stranger Things till like 2023. So like, it's just that wasn't my world, right? I was moto, I was clinical, and I'll kind of get into my background. So, and why I made the decision to do all this stuff, dude. So
yeah, let's do that. But first I wanted to comment and say, because what I saw at Contact in the Desert was cool, but it wasn't a controlled environment. And so what I think is really cool is how they set up this controlled environment. And what's even more fascinating, it's not fascinating. I know that these people have been interested in this stuff for a long time, but the military and politicians and things like that, and the CIA or whatever, have been looking into this sort of shit for a long time. So I find that whole thing fascinating that they were there. Did you know they were going to be there?
Dude, straight honesty, I didn't know if I was going to be flying and spending about $3,000 to fly out there to go to like a rec center with a whole bunch of old people. Straight up, did not know. But the testing, like honestly though, the testing and the website looked really good. So I'm like, this has to be something, because there was obviously some money spent on the testing part of it, right? So I'm like, this is going to be something. And then I started seeing the like publicity, and then they called me for like the walk down video. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be something. This is something real then at that point. You know what I mean? But when I first signed up for it, dude, I was thinking, I have no idea what this is going to be. You know what I mean? I really didn't. And
Hakeem's a real guy though. He's legit.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't expect him to do anything like goofy or half-assed just based off of his background. You know what I mean?
No, but what I'm trying to say though is like, I didn't know who Hakeem was. I didn't know who Dahlia was. I didn't know Vision Without Eyes or any of that, dude. I was moto from Colorado with about 20 years of Vegas on my taxes. So
let me ask you a question then to get into the background. You moto guy, just as a little icebreaker, like, is there any like example from doing motocross where you realized you had these type of abilities? Dude,
100%. Dude, being able to race for 20 years and still like, and I'm saying this jokingly, but I'm not saying it like funnily. 20 plus years of racing, like points chasing racing, and I'm still walking, I'm still moving. Nothing traumatic. I do have some speech impediment from when I died, but that in itself is pretty lucky. But dude, there's so many examples on the gate. When you're on the gate and you're in motocross, let's just say motocross, and you've got 40 dudes on the gate, everybody's on like a 450, every single dude's going for a championship, and you guys are funneling from 40 dudes across, which is probably about 40 yards, to maybe a track that's about 20 to 25 feet wide, and everybody's going for that same 10-foot, first place, spot all at once, right? And so you have to be able to read it. You have to be able to know yourself in that moment, dude. Not only all that, but that focused intention. This was my intro walk down video to the Psy Games was actually talking about how, like, on the gate, I would take 12 deep breaths and I visualize getting to there first, and that focused intention. I always talk about that focused intention along with my adrenaline kind of creates this like great combo that like creates amazing results.
That makes a lot of that makes a lot of sense. As I was asking the question, I was kind of answering it in my own head. It requires some. It doesn't necessarily require it, but you benefit a lot from intuitive ability and intense focus, right? And even mindset, like knowing what's going on behind you and things 100%. Like that from that intense focus. And I wonder, did that the intense focus that you've been able to apply to things like side games, that was built by in these extreme challenging environments and races, correct?
You either make the 100-foot triple or you become paralyzed or you die. I mean, if you're going to shoot for it, I mean, really, those are probably your, or you're walking away with broken bones at minimum. You know what I mean? If you come up short on a big jump, right? You just have to know in your heart, this time I'm doing it and it's going to happen. And I'm going to get to the other side. Now this is in my bag of tricks, right? Dude, the psychic thing with just jumping, right? When I jump a jump, like I actually just posted videos of me doing my ramp. I actually have a ramp and like a freestyle motocross set up in my backyard. When I'm in the air for about a second and a half, which is a long time to people that aren't, jumping motorcycles. But that second and a half feels like a minute and a half to me, right? Because in the air, I'm thinking, am I too far left? Am I too far right? Do I need to grab the clutch and hit my brake to get my front end down? Do I need to rev up to get it back up? Do you know what I mean? And you're in that flow moment, right? Everything else, there's just nothing else, right? There's no kids and mortgage. There's no job and responsibilities. It's life or death. What's in front of you right now? Do you know what I mean? And it really is, man. And especially when you're racing, right? Like in the backyard, I've hit my ramp 100 times, right? Or 1,000 times. But when you're racing, you never know what's going to happen, especially outdoors. The track changes every time you go around it, right? And so, dude, I've got 20 years of motocross, supercross, arena cross, enduro cross, hard enduro, BMX racing with USA BMX. My wife's a national BMX racer. Both my kids are national BMX racers. That's the one thing I haven't done yet is be able to get a national championship in BMX racing. But my kids and my wife did, not me. But
gotta let them have something, right?
Dude, exactly. Dude, the World Long Drive.
That's a good segue into the background and bio. I know your wife's a big part of your life. You talk about her a lot, but let's start there. Not even start there. Let's go. So tell us about your family background and how this sort of bred an environment for you to develop these abilities as well.
Absolutely. So dude, I can get real conspiracy on you. We're going to dabble in it. I'm not going to go into it for a long time. So long story short, my mom was a huge influence on me and my mom was always, so I come from a really good background. My parents were a therapeutic foster home. So I'm my parents' blood child, but I literally always had foster brothers or sisters, usually with severe disabilities, usually nonverbal, or severe behavioral or different things that just, have had, severe disabilities. Right. And so I just always grew up with that. Went to school to actually get an art design degree. I actually have an art degree from the Art Institute of Colorado for industrial design. I got offered a job from Acura to go design body armor, believe it or not. Like the car manufacturer Acura or Honda was actually making some forms of body armor at that time.
For the military?
Nah, I don't know if it was for that or what it was for, but they were interested in my body armor. And so I was really into human ergonomics. So I had built body armor for motorcycle racing, right? But then these car dealerships were interested in it and these other things. And long story short, none of it ever came to fruition because when I graduated, first round of student loans comes in, and unless I leave the country or move to a coast, I don't have a job in Colorado. So unless I want to design decks out of Home Depot, which is not what I went to school for. So long story short, I forbear my student loans, go back for human services, mental health and counseling, get my human services, mental health and counseling, applied behavioral analysis focus, get 20 years of behavioral licenses and what's needed for everything from long-term care to I mean, I've literally done everything across the board. So from like working in schools with autism kids and being a therapeutic foster home and knowing what that looks like from childhood all the way through to long-term care and hospice, right? And I've just taken care of everybody across the board, and usually in a crisis prevention mode, but or behavioral job aspect. But I've also been a case manager, social worker, where you're doing more of like trying to help those people, build them back up, bring that light back into when they're the darkest, right? And so that's always been super important to me, dude. My dad would always, dude, my dad is probably the one that has the most telepathy, and he's like the least into all of it, because his thing to me was always, he's like, Ryan, walk like a champion. And so like literally I intend to do that till I die, right? And he's like, everybody, the best way to do stuff is to be in service of others, right? Like don't neglect yourself, but help people out, man. We're all human. We're all doing this for the first time. If you can make somebody else's life just a little bit easier, you're actually making your life easier too, believe it or not. Like, you know what I mean? And like,
I do. That's why I do what I do. What's weird is that you and I have a shitload in common. We never met before, because I've mentioned on the show, but I'm a clinical social worker as well. And I've been doing this for not as long as you, but for a decent amount of time. And I don't, it's never something I've measured, never something I really even paid a whole lot of attention to. But I do have, I believe, the ability of like empathic reading.
Empathy.
Yeah, I can walk into a room as long as my energy is maintained and controlled. That's a big part of it. Because if it's not, then I'm all over the place. But if my energy is controlled, I can walk into a room, like a classroom, let's say, and I know who's feeling what.
Dude.
And sometimes it can be distracting. But I just thought it was always just a thing, an intuitive thing for me. I wanted to ask, because so first of all, we talked about this before we went online, but children have the ability to learn this stuff due to their neuroplasticity and what I call adult plaque. They don't have all this adult plaque on them.
Right.
They have the ability to, learn this stuff in a quicker way, but also children with disabilities, whether it be nonverbal people or whatever, they have to find other ways to communicate. So it makes sense to me that growing up in that environment was part of your development. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you nailed it on the head. And dude, I don't know if you know this, but I've literally gotten some flack for saying I'm an empath in that psych community. Dude, I'm going to say it, empath. If you can feel energy, you can read nonverbal communication, you can feel the energy of the room. You know if that person's likely to be behavioral or aggressive, or if they're going to be more compliant. Compliant's not the right word, but they're going to be more, friendly, straight up. You know what I mean? You can tell it off people, and you can tell when people are sincere and when they're feeding you a bunch of malarkey.
I can also tell when people are dangerous. Sorry, go ahead, Megan.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, growing up and everything, I just kind of assumed everybody could do that. And then it was interesting to discover later that it can be a superpower, but it can also be like a huge burden when you're not in a good place, or when it's bad energy around you.
And when you have to smile through a conversation where a person's trying to feed you malarkey, right? You can feel it, and you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? And
the other thing that happens to me a lot is like danger awareness. And when it comes to people too, like I will like walk my wife away from somebody and she'll be like, what, that person didn't look dangerous. And has nothing to do with how they look. We will walk past the most gangster guy you'll see in your life that everyone else will be afraid of, but I know that he's not dangerous. It has nothing to do with appearance. And so I find that so fascinating. So did you, I know we're not trying to get too woo or anything, but were you communicating with these children in your house, like on a different level as a child, and you didn't really realize it? Or
so let me kind of give you a little bit more background, and it's all going to connect.
Okay.
So my mom and so my dad works for the state of Colorado. He's human services. My mom's this teacher. My mom literally was a teacher my entire life till she passed. Literally, she worked the day she died. Long story short, so she was always working with these special needs kids too. She was a teacher. She actually followed me, good or bad. My mom was literally a teacher who followed me all the way through the high school. Luckily, she didn't try to follow me into college, but she, but everybody knew my mom. They knew my family. My dad was the coach. Like my mom was more metaphysical, kind of on that side. My dad was just very stereotypical, stick and ball, Kansas State champion for football. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of got a good mix, right? And once again, unconditional positive regard was what was the biggest thing taught in my family, right? Like just because that's their card of hands, that doesn't mean that they should be treated any different. We would still hassle people the same way we would hassle our family, because it's just including them just like you would anybody else, right? And being aware of maybe some things that they might need some extra assistance, but not making a big deal, and you just move on, right? Just get everybody through and increase it for everybody, right? And so my mom's the biggest part of that. My mom's also the biggest part of my artistic. Like I said, I have the art degree that I wasn't able to do anything with. On the backside of it, I actually make props for like indie movies, and there's a local dinner theater that I make props for sometimes, and not exactly how I planned on using that degree, but it's better than nothing. I also do my own haunted house every year. So
I have a graphic design degree that I'm not exactly using.
Dude, the art people that paid all that money, dude, my art degree costs more than my human services, and I'm able to do less with it. But not discouraging anybody from art. But
you make a fun house every year?
Dude, I make a haunted house. Dude, my house is known as the Ghostbusters house. So I want a car, dude. I'm the dude that won a car. I'm getting there. So I want a car and turn it into the Ecto, and like I have all these Ghostbusters props, like literally like on set used props. And so I have, dude, if you haven't look at my garage. Look at some of my training. My garage is nuts.
I will look for sure.
Dude, so long story short, so my mom gets diagnosed with cancer. Things start changing a little bit. Nothing dramatic really changes, right? My mom ends up passing in 2015. I end up trying to do a motocross championship for her. She actually passed in April. My championship was in September. In the process of trying to win this championship, I actually passed. I died. I killed myself. What's crazy, man, is so it's moto community in Colorado is pretty tight. So this guy named Joel, who is the medic for this Rocky Mountain Moto Medics is what they were called. And this guy was just known. He was like iconic in Colorado. He even did like our big national events. But this guy named Joel, who was also my friend who I raced with, was the first person on me and like saw my family running. My whole team got to watch me pass. My whole family got to watch me pass. I was dead for 4 minutes. What's funny is in the hospital when my mom died, she died for 4 minutes, came back. They were actually starting to take her off all this stuff. She came back, lasted for about 10 more hours for all the family, and passed again. So what I was going to say is, so the effect on me, obviously, I do this to myself, just make bad decisions. And on this jump that I'm dead. I don't remember anything for about a month, straight honesty. And so I ended up wrecking the whole left side of my body. Whole left side of my body is modern medical, mastery of 2012, right? So, or like 2015, sorry. So
what happened? What
yeah.
was
So so dude, I literally live right between a motocross track and a BMX track in this place called Brighton. So there's a track called IMI, which is literally a track I just took my family to. It's my home track. I literally live less than 5 minutes from it. Track I've literally done 1,000 times. Championship race. I'm in fourth place, and top 3 means I'll finish at least top 3 for the series. Fourth or worse puts me out of it, meaning I finish, outside of the top 5, which is money and trophies and fun. You know what I mean? So not only am I motivated, but I'm also like, this is my mom's race. I'm winning this championship for my mom. And so what I did is, I'll do it like this. So this is the lip of a jump, right? And so you're going to hit the jump and you want to land like smooth, right? So when I went off the lip, I actually caught my rear wheel and my rear end went completely sideways, And so I landed going about 45 or 50 miles an hour from about 30 feet in the air with my bike sideways. And so it crushed all of my left side, broke my shoulder, broke my collarbone, my chest, my sternum, literally front and back, all the ribs. I had some back injuries. I posted about it, dude. And so like one thing I want people to know too is like literally I hold, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't hide anything. I want people to know, right? So I literally post everything. So when I did that, I posted it, and I've had other injuries where like I've had my femur jammed into my nether regions in like Utah, all these crazy injuries, right? And so what you learn through that is
wife, does she have to take care of you when all these injuries happen?
Okay, straight honesty, my wife does these with me so she can talk about that kind of stuff. Okay. So, but my wife and my friend Cheryl, who's also my trainer, literally were the two that pretty much put me back together most of these times. Because yeah, man, it was hard. The one where I died was pretty rough. And then the one, actually, another shoulder surgery was the
one where I died was pretty rough.
I mean, you know, comparatively, I mean, I came out of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. I hope
you look
that rough.
You don't look like you died.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I usually should be jet black hair. I'm only like 40, and I've got all this gray, I think, from all the stress. But so all these injuries too also taught me how to separate my consciousness from my body and kind of be able to astral project or kind of remote view myself, but to get through it to where I could still answer questions, if that makes sense. So all this stuff, right? I come back. So my mom takes me on kind of an Ebenezer Scrooge of my past, present, and future. She's guiding me by my ear. My mom's trademark, even to like my kids, was to pull me around by my ear in grocery stores from childhood till death. Man, when my mom died, she was pulling me around by my ear. So she's pulling me around by my ear, showing me like what my family looked like though, and like my dad and my kids and my race team, and like if I had died, what would have happened next? And like I'm literally in the hospital unconscious, having all these like epiphanies. Wake up, they actually missed a giant like fracture in my leg. So I'm like, guys, you missed like there's something wrong with my leg too. You're asking me to walk and I cannot put pressure on my leg. And so they ended up having to put a plate in my leg that they never found. Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to Evel Knievel or any of those guys, man. It's just it's the so long story. Long story short, I also come back from this color overlay, and this becomes. So the best way I can describe it is if you're fighting somebody or done like an action sports and you've had your bell rung, sometimes your vision will get kind of these sparks, or you'll get like color outlines to things, or your vision will get like a yellow or a red. You know what I mean? There's just these other things where when your bell gets rung, your vision can also be affected, right? And so I
got kicked in the head and had a retinal detachment, and I see shit all the time now.
Dude, good or bad? I mean, I just learned how to harness my crazy shit. So
I have not.
Dude, just spend some time in a mask, you'll get it. I'll get there though. But so I get this color overlay, and the best way I can describe it is that like everything in my life has like an outlined burst of color. Even you guys, my computer, and it never turns off. The only time
that happened after the head injury.
This is after the head injury.
Okay, so that's the aura stuff only showed up after the head injury. I just want to be clear, right?
The aura stuff only after the head injury.
Okay, all right, cool.
But around objects too, you can almost see like the biofields.
Yeah, like a biofield or an aura. And I would actually even say maybe it's a little bit less of like an aura, but like you know how like when you put on those old school like blue and red glasses and you would look at a book, certain things would pop compared to others, or it might become more 3D. Dude, the best way I can describe it is that I can see things kind of 3D inside and out. And you know how like in the latest Willy Wonka, right after he reunites, dude, Willy Wonka is my favorite movie of all time, by the way.
It's a good one. It's a trip.
The original one, or
the Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka Till I Die. The latest one was still good, but
it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as good as Gene Wilder.
It was a different vibe for sure.
Yeah. but the end where he reunites the mom and he's walking through what would later be the Gene Wilder, chocolate factory, right? He's looking through that castle and all the things are starting to form and it's all kind of coming up around him, right? That's how these colors kind of hit me when I'm in my mask. Because I'll see forms, I'll see inside and out of things, and it's really just being able to harness that, man. I hate to be like this, but when you're half broken for a month, you don't have much else to do. You know what I mean? And especially when you're a dude that's like, go, 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 and then I need to go again. You know what I mean? It's hard to sit there. So I'm trying to build my consciousness if I can't move my body. You know what I mean? Straight up.
I wish I did that when I hurt my back. I just kind of got bummed out for about a year. And I didn't develop any special abilities, but I did start my podcast. I did learn to slow down. I've been doing Tai Chi's my thing now. I'm getting better every day. So it's everyone's different, but
dude, 100%, just getting better every day. Just that improvement, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, man, I'm a weird cat. So I'm pretty positive most people don't spend their injury time being like consciousness and remote viewing. And you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that's not the majority of people.
True. But I do think that like when we're talking about injury recovery or surgery recovery or whatever, I think that almost should be a part of the rehab. It shouldn't just be a physical rehab, because that was the biggest problem. I'd go to all these physical therapists, and like you go to a traditional physical therapy place and it's they're insurance factories, for lack of a better word. There's a bunch of old people in there. Yeah. And they're not even watching you. They've got freaking Ellen on TV and they're joking about whatever. Yeah. I felt like that whole, anyway, so I had a whole bad experience with that. I went to a bunch of different ones, and eventually I had to take my physical therapy into my own hands by learning how to connect my head to my body.
Dude, you get it. And so I would say I learned how to detach my consciousness for pain management straight up. Dude, like when you're like 3 miles out, and dude, I can tell you so many stories of like just having to sit with pain for hours and hours, and not like a stubbed toe or a sprained ankle, like my bone is sticking out, I'm bleeding out, and I'm 4 miles back in the woods, and I'm having to like push my motorcycle because I don't want to leave a $15,000 motorcycle that isn't paid off in the woods. You know what I mean? So you're just making it through, and you're just grunting it out, and your mind turns off the pain. Dude, I am completely covered in tattoos. I'm really good at shutting off pain and just being able to kind of astral project or remote view myself to just get away from my body.
So that's interesting to me, because I've been like just learning how to try to sit with pain, and it honestly doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I get fidgety. I get like, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to stretch this. I need to stretch that. How long can I sit here like this? Like, and I think what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is it's more helpful to learn how to detach than anything else.
Well, and not to say that's helpful, like, right? Like, I don't want to say like ignore your problems, but like exactly what you're saying though, like, right? Like if I am in the middle of the woods and my shoulders popped out and I've got a bone sticking out of my leg, but I'm able to push my bike and I can lean on the bike, and I don't have $15,000 to just leave my motorcycle if it gets stolen, like you need to figure it out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with any part of life, dude. I think that's why I'm so good at so many things. It's just like, nope, this is the time. We're focusing this energy on this. You don't get to look away. Like, and not to be like aggressive with myself, but I'm aggressive with myself. You know, like, dude, on Thursday we are accomplishing this, and this, and we aren't going to bed until at least this happens. You know what I mean? On Wednesday I have, or on Tuesday I have the podcast, and we are doing this, and I have to get these things done for my business. And now, like, life doesn't stop till that happens, dude. When we were racing, we would race motorcycles. We did like 3 series of motorcycle racing. I still was a full-time job. I was the coach of my kids' basketball, and we were still doing national BMX for my other son and my wife. Like, we literally just did not stop moving, dude. And I think that's hard for a lot of people, because you're just people are just used to having more of that time, right? Dude, I know what it's like to die. I know my time's limited. You know what I mean? And it, not to be weird, but it does put a little bit different perspective on it, because it's like, when other than my mom kind of guiding me and having this kind of fun experience to talk about, even though it was like lectures and my mom pulling my ear and seeing all the sadness. But, you know, on the backside of it, man, it could have gone completely different. Right. And so whether it's education or sci stuff or sports or my family or anything, man, I'm all in. I don't have an in between. I'm full send or nothing, man. Like it's go or nothing. You know what I mean? And
so were you like that as a child, or was that something you had to build? Or were you always just like all in? And, you know, because all the things you're describing, right? Like, I don't have kids. I got a job. I got a podcast. I also coach basketball. Man, that's weird. We have a lot in common.
dude.
But so I was talking to my new neighbors across the street, and they have 3 teenagers who are all in like every sport that as the sports season rolls through, they're in the next one where it goes soccer to football to basketball to whatever's in the spring. Anyway, they look tired. And they literally bought the house across the street as a 4-year plan. All their kids are going to be gone. And then their plan is to just go like this afterwards and just rest. And there's an amount of, you have to have like some internal driver and internal energy source. And not to get into them, hopefully he's not watching this, but like, I think this isn't even related to them, but a lot of people, their self-care is something, because you must do self-care, right? And their self-care is like, you know, not my neighbors, but like, you know, drinking or whatever, bad habits, right?
Medicated.
How do you do self-care?
Dude, believe it or not, and I am proud to say this, and I don't judge people, dude. Remember, I'm unconditional positive regard, so I don't judge people. You can drink, smoke, do whatever you want.
Right.
That's what works for you in your life, right? Like, I do smoke a little bit. We do live in Colorado, but I don't smoke. I've never drank. I've never liked the taste of alcohol. Mm-hmm. I don't like beers. I don't like any of that stuff. So I also, dude, I worked as a Godiva chocolate manager, so I hate chocolate. Not that Godiva chocolate is bad, but like when you sell chocolate and you have to clean chocolate out of like sinks and shit. Sorry.
Swear away. We're a swearing podcast.
Dude, all right. Dude, when you have to clean that shit up, like you just lose all your taste for chocolate, right? So like,
that makes sense.
And so like I come back with this like color overlay. I've now also in the process of all these injuries have a pretty good ability to kind of remove my consciousness, either astral project or remote view, however you want to kind of look at it. They're kind of the same. You know, to just go into one last thing. So, dude, I just want to show you. So I look at any of my stuff. You can see in my garage, I literally have 20 years of motocross, supercross, all these BMX, all these things. I know you've mentioned World Long Drive.
How the hell did you get into that? Are you a golfer as well?
Dude, if I see something and I'm like, I can do that, dude, I'm not only going to do it, I'm going to be like the national dude on TV.
Well, because long driving is very difficult. Most of the people that do it are large, and you're not a large
giant dudes. So, dude, here's the secret. I'm like still kind of built. Mm-hmm. Like 10 years ago, dude, I was pretty ripped. I was like 220 and like 3% body fat. And although I'm kind of short, I'm kind of pit bullish. You know what I mean? So here's one of my main drivers.
I think you'd be nasty to roll jiu-jitsu with. I think just because
I did.
Little strong guys are a nightmare.
I did the MMA, and here's the thing: I was always too nice. They would always put me with these like 100-pound featherweight championship women because they knew I could take a beating, and like the girls were gonna hurt me, but they knew I had enough control that I wouldn't like lose myself on them. Dude, I got so many of the like, I forget what it's called, but when your ear blows up and my nose got broken by this woman named Skinner, and I don't know if she's gonna watch it, but she's this championship Muay Thai boxer from Colorado, and this woman would just beat me up twice a week and like not really feel bad about it. So I had to stop.
So
dude, I'm going to show you real quick. I have a putter on my driver, and for anybody that ever talks smack and doesn't think I'm for real, every one of your clubs, it's just not going to focus on it.
Put your hand behind it. It might focus if you put your hand behind it.
There we go. So this is the World Long Drive like thing to say they check the club. So I actually used all these different clubs. But dude, so I ended up getting it at 450, and this is a while ago.
450?
Correct.
Jesus. Like pro golfers have a hard time, getting 350 sometimes.
Dude,
that is insane. 450 yards.
I have a notorious reputation at our local what's that called? Top Golf.
Top Golf, yeah.
Dude, you
must destroy Top Golf. You know how you make money. You're too nice for this, but you could totally hustle people hard, I think.
Dude, I totally could because I'm so short. I'm going to show you one last club, dude. So this is actually I got this one specially made for me. You can see already what this one is, dude. This is a 3-inch extended from a normal. So, and it's got a super flexible shaft, so it whips really hard. But this is actually the club I'm like least good with. It just takes a lot to control it, right? Like you can have some power, but I have like no aim with it, right? It's just it's so long, and I'm not that tall, right? And so this is probably my least exciting club. It's the most exciting to look at, but not the hit.
But these abilities of intense focus and whatnot obviously apply to long driving as well, because you have to. Everything has to be like, your mechanics have to be pretty perfect, right?
Exactly, man.
Especially if you're dealing with these guys 100 pounds hevier than you or whatever, right?
Well, dude, and I'm a short dude. Usually they're about 100 pounds heavier and about a head taller. And dude, even for the moto community, I'm about the right height. Like,
right, I was going to ask.
Apparently, that was meant to be a horse jockey or a motocross racer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Center of gravity.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about with small, strong martial artists are particularly annoying. When I was halfway good, that was larger guys didn't like rolling with me because I was too scrambly and too.
You can be quicker. You're more of an all around compared to like one or the other, right? And so, dude. Look, this gives me the perfect segue into the size stuff and to kind of showing you guys and getting more into that realm.
Yeah, because Megan and I both have playing cards, and we're going
don't tell me anymore. Don't do anything.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so no, you're good. You're good. Just let them know you have them. Because dude, so exactly in this, that was the perfect thing to say too, leading into this, dude. So what's been really important to me. And once again, dude, I have no allegiance to anybody. One thing I've learned that I was not aware of is that there's definitely some old school sci folks and communities and like programs for teaching. And then there's definitely some more new school, right? And so I wasn't aware of any of this. So you have like, teams that are sponsoring the PSI Games too, like the Monroe Institute. That was about the only one that I actually knew what it was. But you have like Vision Without Eyes. You have a handful of these different remote viewing programs and all these different vendors coming to PSI Games that all, VibraWorks from Utah and all or VibraVision, all these different communities that kind of teach the same stuff, but maybe either specialize in one. I guess where I'm going with all this is I wasn't aware of any of it. You know what I mean? I knew what
remote viewing was. You're a bit of a disruptor, right? Like,
dude, I'm telling you, this is why I'm the Happy Gilmore. I'll tell you more. I knew what remote viewing was straight up. I knew what precognition was. I'm a ghost alien guy. I knew what psychics are, but that was like my kind of basic, right? Is like kind of precognition, maybe mediumship, but not really any of these other games, is what I'll say. So I see Emily Bledsoe. She does this thing about it. I think Dana, I forget her last name, does another thing about it, promoting it, more from the Monroe Institute side, but that was just one of the promoters. That wasn't, Hakeem did the games. Long story short, we apply for it. We do all the testing. It ends up taking about a month of testing. I test for all the games. And one more time, just to back up, when I signed up, just put my application in April, I actually did a big kind of psychic coming out of the closet to my friends, my family, my moto community, my sponsors, because in my heart, that precognition, man, I knew that I was going to go and show. And that was what was important to me, is going and showing, right? So I'm like, I don't want to just blow everybody out of the water or have them, you know, because I had never really encountered any of the like negative connotation stuff to this, like you're demonic, till after the PSI Games. And that has definitely happened since. For me, it was just like, you know, Robert Monroe, and you know, and you have all these consciousness people, you know, put in the groundwork for the 20 years. You know what I mean? Carl Jung I think the MBTI, and I'm an INFJ. Rare, and so
I'm also an IFNJ.
dude, this is I'm telling you, dude, this is why we get it. So
let's just become best friends.
Yeah.
Just become best friends.
So much room for activities,
dude. You know what I mean? So you know, I guess what I'm just trying to say is I didn't have any lead up or allegiance to anybody coming in. So I am definitely the Happy Gilmore coming in. Nobody knows who I am. I go meet Colonel, and so I go meet Colonel John Alexander and Danny Sheehan on Friday, and I'm wearing my BMX racing jersey because in my heart, what was important for me was to go and represent the people from Colorado that did support me, right? Because when I came out in like April and was like, guys, I think I'm psychic and I think we're going to go and show, I kind of got mixed reactions, right? And so on top of that,
people like, no way, you're not psychic, and some people were like, oh yeah, you're for sure psychic.
The people that knew me, dude. Okay, so let me back up just 2 more times. I promise we'll get into this stuff, dude. So my family reunion was in Vegas for the last like 20 years till maybe 4 years ago when a bunch of my family died. But we would go to Vegas like at least 3 or 4 times a year, and it would be with family, with my race team, with all these people that were important to me, right? And I would win shit tons of money, and to the point that like my family would have to run time frames and follow me, not only because we would have a lot of money on us or like checks that were worth a lot of money on us, but like we would also go and like I would lose money too, right? So my wife or my dad or somebody would also kind of keep checks on me because when I first started, like, dude, but we're talking like years of this, to the point that like we're claiming it on taxes. I'm the dude that won a car. I won a Nissan Sentra, and I turned it into the Ecto One because I'm the dude that won the car. So of course, dude, if you get a free car, that's got to be the Ghostbusters car.
That was my last car, a Nissan Sentra.
Dude, I mean, it's not that I wish I could have won the Corvette. Dude, that's the story of my life. I literally play the lottery every goddamn day, and I literally win every day, but I've never won the lottery, right? So dude, when I'm so happy that I'm the dude that won the car, but I won the fucking Nissan Sentra. Do you know what I mean? Not the Corvette, not the Lamborghini. I got the like Nissan Sentra 4-door sedan.
So you win like the $10
dude every day. I literally can show you right now on my phone. I just got the like notification that the like cash 3 came in and I won, but it was like basically just pay it back, right? That's one of the notifications that you guys heard.
That's hilarious,
dude. So I have all this Vegas winning. All this precognition between the telepathy with the kids and like everybody. Like I actually worked at my wife's school and their autism program for a minute. Dude, every teacher at my wife, everybody saw the like communication that we would have non-verbally with these kids that were in these middle of a behavioral crisis, and they'd send me in within 5 minutes. Everybody's de-escalated. We're going back to school, and we're going back to do what we need to do. And maybe at the worst, I had to give some candy. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we're all the way back in from a complete meltdown. You know what I mean? And so, everybody that knew me knew, and I would say I was psychic. You know, I had no way of proving it past, you know, receipts from Vegas, which I still feel like the amount of receipts in Vegas I have is enough to say I'm psychic. But so we go and the whole point is, right, where I'm going with all of this is we have all this lead up. I know I'm going to go and show at the PSI Games. I post everything starting from that point, from that coming out point. I've started posting like when I was doing my testing. I started posting. We were posting what we called sizzle reels of my training. And so I guess what I'm also trying to say here is training is key to any of this, right? I can say I'm naturally talented at some, but most of this stuff, dude, World Long Drive, I'm a short dude that's stocky. It does not come natural, right? So it's training. I literally would sit at this golf course for 2 summers straight, learning how to manipulate my body to do the whip and crack at the end so I could get more whip on it compared to somebody that just had more momentum, right? And so, dude, and motocross, right? You don't learn how to jump a triple. People just think you pull the gas and you go. You don't. That's not how it works. You'll kill yourself. You know, like it takes time to learn these skills, right? And so what was important for me is that when people see my psychic stuff, I've shown my track record. I literally started posting every training and the whole training for the most part until recently when it's, you know, I've now posted 6 months of trainings. So seeing me do Zener cards 100 times is not as entertaining as it was when I was doing it back in like, you know, June, right before the PSI Games. You know what I mean? But I've posted my progression and I've shown that like, even at PSI Games, we'll talk about mind sight. My mind sight was not open. I was doing intuitive mind sight, trying to feel everything. My mind sight windows have opened since then. And I'll kind of talk about all that, but I just want people to understand that, like, for me, the psychic stuff was always there, kind of innate, but to get to the point where I could be a competitive psychic, if that's a thing to claim, the psychic champion of the world right now, or PSI Games at least, it took time to get there, right? It wasn't an overnight. I just showed up and I did amazing, man. I put 4 months of hardcore training into all of it, and then had the results of the PSI Game, then just stuck with it, right? And now it's actually funny because I'm actually doing the first perceptual intuitive intensive through the PSI Games with Akeem in May. So it'll actually be me and 2 other individuals training folks to the PSI Games. Also trying to help kind of screen out folks that think that they might be a competitor and then, you know, get on stage and maybe can't perform. Because, I mean, that's the other part of the PSI Games, right? Which is also unique, which is probably where the Happy Gilmore comes in. And I'll tell you guys one more Happy Gilmore story, but because, dude, I am Happy Gilmore to the max. You guys don't even know.
Did you learn the long drive because you wanted to like fully live your Happy Gilmore dream?
Dude, no joke. It's so funny because I haven't really brought the clubs in to show everybody on anybody else because I've just done so many other things, right? And the motorcycle, I've jumped my motorcycle with a mindfold and a helmet bag on my freestyle ramps. Like, I've done all these things, right? And so I just want to prove to people that my psychic stuff's real. And yes, it was because I wanted to be Happy Gilmore.
Right. I want to be Indiana Jones. I get it. I'm like, we all have our like character we aspire to.
Dude, you've talked in some of your previous podcasts about how children are more open to it. Dude, I never lost my childhood. That's the thing. I just learned how to adapt to being an adult child. I mean, straight up. You know what I mean? Like, I never let dirt bikes go. I never let the mountain bikes go or the BMX. Literally, BMX is just now, and the dirt bikes are starting to fade out just because I'm doing this stuff. But, you know, it's like I never let go, and I never thought I couldn't. Right? Like, why should it be somebody else and not me? Why can't I be that person? And what if I waited till tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, what's going to happen to tomorrow? Well, tomorrow may be put off. Well, why can't I do it right now? Why can't I start training right now? And once again, man, when you know time's limited, when you know what the other side kind of looks like, you just get more motivation to it, dude. My goal is to have the biggest, baddest dad lore of all time. Because, dude, I
think you already do, bro.
Dude, I've had 16 concussions, and after your 4th concussion, you exponentially have a higher likelihood of getting dementia, you know, later on. Dude, I'm up to 16. We're like late 60s. We're dementia, and when I start talking about my crazy, oh, dude, it's all right. I've already accepted it. But here's the thing. When it comes, I'm going to be like, I was the psychic champion of the world, and I jumped my house with a dirt bike, and people are going to be like, what is he talking about? Like, I really did. Look, there's videos of it. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
I can completely picture that. My dad has dementia, and like some of the guys in his homes are like trying to tell me they like took down a president. And I'm like,
dude, okay. Exactly. I'm going to be the one dude that like, maybe he's right. I don't know. You know what I mean? Dude, I do have a president. I have a letter from President Obama for a human services speech I did for Colorado. Like, I'm all over the board, dude.
I'll come to see you when you have dementia one day and hang out and hear
no one's gonna believe me. But so we go to PSI Games, and I'll just kind of lead into all this stuff because I don't think you guys know about the PSI Games, what it looked like, right? And so once again, you're on this main stage. There's probably I think there was like at least hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people, right? A giant ballroom, completely full, standing room. Every part of this wing of this hotel was full of people, right? And so the first thing they let off with was remote viewing. And remote viewing, for folks who don't know, is being able to pick out a target or be able to see something with a target number, and then express what you're seeing, right? And most of the time as a remote viewer, you don't know if you're right or wrong. And so I've actually done a whole bunch of remote viewings, a very similar way. So there's going to be like the old military way, and that's cool, and that's totally something that's legit. But there's going to be the new way of the Psy Games too, which is more like AI created images. So you have no idea what you're looking at. So you're truly just going from your consciousness. And so that's the way that I train, because that's the way they did. Let me back up one more time. I train, so I actually train people now. I actually have a website that just started this week. I told you guys I'm kind of in between jobs, working with Hakeem and kind of getting AI booted from healthcare. So right now I've actually started this company, Consciousness Connection and Training LLC. I train to the Psy Games. So I don't, once again, I'm not talking smack on anybody. I think there's a bunch of different practitioners out there that can teach you mind sight, that can teach you these different psychic abilities. I think the difference with me is I'm going to not explain it in a woo-woo or a chi or I'm going to use clinical terms just because that's my background. I'm going to use like adrenaline and energy and you're manic or I'm going to use more terms like that to just try to catch more people. Also, with it being a competition, I want to catch more people, right? And take the woo-woo out of it, right?
You're like motocrossing with your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Or like freestyle motocross, at least, where like it's the X Games where once a year we come to show what we learned over the past year on this platform, right? That's professional and has publicity. So, dude, I'm the Psychic X Games. You know what I mean? So let me. I've talked about all this. I'm once again. I'm trying to stay on track. I'm really good at getting myself off track.
You're doing good, man.
We're loving it all.
So, because I want to tell you about the animals and all this other stuff, but I want to get to the Psy Games.
We got time. We're not in a hurry.
There's ghosts and spirits and all this other stuff, but so Psy Games, right?
We're gonna have to talk to you a few times, to say the least.
Dude,
so anything we don't cover today.
I have an Orb Skywatch this weekend in Nunn, Colorado. And I did a podcast with another guy named Lights Over Loveland who we caught ships and like hundreds of orbs coming over the sunset that I'm talking to. And like he used these crazy intense cameras. And so I have orbs that follow me. Dude, I communicate with animals.
I want orbs.
Dude.
I want to communicate with animals.
Dude, you can do them both. You just got to find the right setting, right? Like, dude, these manta ray experiences and just all these ocean animals. My tattoos. I live in Colorado and I'm a native, right? But it's all this ocean life. I had such crazy experiences on Big Island and like Hawaii and California, just the Pacific Ocean in general, and like all these like spiritual where we've been able through motocross and through the Psy Games been able to meet all these crazy people that I would have, the normal person just doesn't have the opportunity to meet just all of a sudden, right? Between like bands and athletes and these spiritual guides and like, man, I've just been super blessed. So I just want to say that out loud. My family was super good. I live a super blessed life. I put a lot of energy and work into my life, but I'm also aware that there are many people that put in that same amount of energy and had one bad thing happen, and man, your life can completely change in a moment, right? And you get it. You see it, right? You get the one dude that has a stroke that like just comes at the wrong moment and it ruins their life, and then all of a sudden they're
what the fuck? Where did you get that from?
Dude, that's
the dude with the stroke. Where did you get that from?
I have a dude that was a principal who had a stroke, was a super nice guy, did all the things right.
Oh, I just read my mind because I was literally just fucking. I met a dude, a veteran who had a stroke, and he now recovering from it. And I met him this last weekend, and I've been thinking about him today. And I just think that's a weird coincidence or something.
Dude, it's hard, or like Huntington's or like MS. Dude, any of these diseases were like, I think people hear me when they talk, but they don't know what that looks like, right? When you're working with a person with Huntington's and they're having chorea, and you don't know if they're trying to be aggressive with you, or if that's just their movement, or like severe dementia where they can't talk and it's just aggression, and having the conversations with families when like their loved one isn't eating because they forgot how to eat, but you can't force them legally to eat. And having that conversation, you know what I mean? Like, people just don't know, right? And what that physically looks like in person, but then to like communicate that, right? And I think people see all these dirt bikes and the golf and the X Games, and me and my family are pretty crazy, right? Like, we do crazy stuff. I jump my motorcycle with a blindfold over my house. You know what I mean? Like, who else does that? Nobody. or wins the car, right? But at the same token, it's like, I feel like karma on the backside is just kind of showing me that like, it is a balance, right? I listen to death metal, Ice Nine Kills, but then I'll follow it up with some Joe Samba, you know, and reggae, like super nice vibes. You know what I mean? It's as above, so below. It's the balance, dude. I'm not really a religious person, but I'm very philosophical, right? Like, Alan Watts is my dude. If I had to say, like Alan Watts in general, dude, like, life is a dance, and literally you may lose your opportunity to dance, right? Like, and once again, and a person that sits and eats at the concession stand and enjoys that part of the dance, totally, right? Like, maybe that was what hit for them, right? Or the person that just kind of sat in the corner with themselves and maybe was a little bit more disappointed that they didn't do anything else, or they didn't go dance or eat the food. You know what I mean? But dude, my plan from the start, dude, my high school quote was, "It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog." I came out like, I've always been punk rock. I've always had crazy color hair until my hair started falling out and turning different colors itself. Like, I've not really cared what other people thought. Like, I've always just done my own thing, dude. When you're still in your 30s and everybody else is like buying their houses and you're buying a trailer to go race dirt bikes, you know what I mean? Like, people kind of look down on that, but like, on the backside of that, I'm so glad I did, because now I live in this house with a track and all these things, you know what I mean? It's because I followed my dreams. I didn't give up on myself, dude. I think people just get afraid to bet on themselves, to know that they can do it. And if they can't do it, man, you're going to figure out how to do it because you're betting on yourself, right? I'm starting this business betting on myself because, you know, the reality is social work's always going to be there. Healthcare is going to be there. AI or not, they're still going to need somebody to explain humanistically what's going to be happening, right? But this opportunity with the Psy stuff, if it doesn't catch on, dude, and one thing you said earlier that caught me so much, before I go into like the demonstrations, is, dude, my sons both do the psychic stuff with me. It just takes one generation to not know about psychic, to not train psychic, and psychic's gone. It's just off the planet. You know what I mean? And so if we don't keep these things alive, like if I don't make it a fun competition for my son, who's, you know, we're in Colorado, which Colorado's mostly, I don't know. Colorado's a weird dynamic, right? Because I would say 90% of Colorado is actually right-wing Republican, but then it has these hard spots of like very open, you know, and liberal, right? And so once again, my family's not political. We're not religious, unconditional positive regard, but in the communities, like my moto community is Christian, hardcore. My wife's family is Christian. Colorado's kind of all over the place. You know what I mean? So as a dude like me, who's got this clinical background and this professional career in sports and clinician, and then all of a sudden I'm like psychic and woo-woo, and to the religious folks, demonic. I mean, I've straight been called demonic since, and I'm in no way demonic. I don't, you know, but it's been a real part that's happened.
It made me think, Ryan, you know, and I don't even know what to believe anymore about what's real sometimes because of the internet, but like, it made me, so a lot of people think that these abilities have been deliberately suppressed by, you know, sort of the paradigm that we're fed. We're purposely being told it's woo-woo so that we don't access them, because if all of us access these abilities, we wouldn't be taking the bullshit that we get fed. What do you think about that?
Dude, I'm going to show you something that I just put on my phone today. I don't claim this isn't my image, but it's dude, all of my tattoos are actually like Greek mythology, right? And so this is what this was is this is the cave, right?
I'm going to read it to the audience. Hold it up there. Plato's cave explains why many people prefer to live in an illusion. Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, because right now, that's why I think what you're doing right now is actually going to take off, is because the veil is coming down right now on the reality that we've been given. And a lot of people are starting to ask these questions like, wait a second, maybe that isn't bullshit, or wait, maybe, you know, that wasn't a conspiracy, right? Dude, or that was a conspiracy.
Dude, I forgot to tell you, my mom was a teacher at my school, right? She followed me all the way through. In Cole Elementary, I was part of the GATE program, no joke. Like where they screen, I'm not even joking. I have a $2 bill to prove it that this trainer, or the tester gave me, because we're talking back in like the 90s, like 90, probably not even like late 80s, early 90s is when I was in elementary. That makes me sound really old. Shit.
Me too, bro. Me too.
Dude. But like, so my mom was a teacher at this school named Cole Elementary. Principal Ray was the principal. I remember it distinctly. And so I got pulled from 3rd through 5th grade to be part of the GATE program. And they definitely tested Zener cards on me. They had these knots. They had these word puzzles that I would always figure out. What I would blow their mind with was with tanagrams. They're like these shapes and colors. And what they would do is they'd have you make these different things out of these shapes and colors. Well, what I would always do is I would be able to stack them or create like 3D images with them that blew the trainers away. Like that, I remember they like were blown away and actually brought a second trainer to come see me do the tanagrams, where I'd make like a 3D structure or picture art out of it, right? Compared to just doing it flat on the ground, you know what I mean? Or on the table. And dude, and to the point that this guy gave me a $2 bill at a place called King Supers here in Colorado back in the 90s. And basically, not like in a creepy way, but like in a coaching kind of way, was like, dude, keep doing what we're doing, right? And don't get me wrong, I completely stopped doing any of that shit till I became an adult with the PSI Games. But it's just weird, right?
That's
like,
so wild.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was never that connection till the PSI Games, right? Like, that was just another coach in my like.
What
really
made you decide to go to the PSI Games though? What made you decide to go test this shit? How did you find out about it? Like, what happened?
So that thing from Emily Bledsoe, right? So I was in the middle of an injury coming back. Dude, it's just all these synchronicities and all this kind of stuff, man. So I'm in the middle of an injury. I'm sitting at my home. I'm able to do some stuff, but I'm not able to do my full. So I actually have a moment to sit and look at social media. I see Emily Bledsoe's post. I see that Dana post. They're talking about it being the Psychic Olympics or the Hunger Games of the Psychic is what that Dana said. You know what I mean? Just a psychic competition, right? You caught me at psychic, and then you put competition on for the championship guy. I was hooked from the start. You know what I mean? And so I research it, right? I show Cheryl, I show my wife, I show my dad, because once again, my dad's kind of my like other baseline, because he saw me lose a lot of money in Vegas too, right? So my dad's like, hold your horses just a moment. You know what I mean? So we sign up for it, right? And I guess just that precognition of all the Vegas, the being able to show that there is some degree of telepathy, the precognition. Dude, when people talk about me in Vegas, I don't win on I've won on roulette, but I don't typically win on table games. I will wander casinos and find the one machine that's gonna like blow up and give me the like max payout. And I'll find it.
The Twin Peaks, the show Twin Peaks.
I haven't.
Okay, you're Mr. Jackpots. Let's just put it to anybody out there who knows the Twin Peaks. This is like real life, Mr.
Legit, and it's not just Vegas, huh?
You're good.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's not just Vegas. So like, there's a place here in Colorado called Central City. I've taken my friends, like, because really anybody that's like, you're not really psychic, go show me. I'm like, all right, well, let's go to Central City real quick. And like literally I end up buying them a breakfast and their hotel, and then they're like, okay, you're kind of psychic. Do you know what I mean? So Oh, I can't hear.
I was muted. Do you think the table games are like there's just too many variables going on there, which is why you don't do them, or like?
I think I try to read everybody too hard. Instead of just being in my own flow, I'm like, look, okay, well, this guy's got this look, and I think he's got these cards, and you know, or I'm better at like roulette, where it's just black red, and we're gonna do a little bit of that too. But I'll try because I know we're already at an hour. But dude, it's just good. All these things, right? And so I knew the side games was gonna click for me, right? And so I'm trying to get myself back on task here. So
real quick, what I find interesting the most about this is that there was a whole community of people that have been doing this for a long time, and then here comes this motocross guy with a mohawk rolling in, testing super high, and they're probably like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
No,
and I wonder, did you get pushback a little bit, like?
Okay. Dude, so first off, the first time I met Colonel John Alexander, he definitely gave me a look of like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I was in my race jersey, I was in jeans. Everybody else looks like a social worker at minimum, where they're at least in like business casual. I just rolled in, racer Ryan, you know what I mean? Dude, I didn't know. So this guy was wearing the fucking Ghostbusters helmet. He had the one with all the shit. And it was actually like the EKG machine, right? But I'm like Ghostbusters in my head. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, dude, I love your Ghostbusters hat. He's like, no, it's an EKG. Like, point blank. You know, like, and I'm like,
still a Ghostbusters hat. Come on, bro.
Dude, you know, and okay, so like, here's the best part. Okay, I'm going to get into just a little bit more of the Happy Gilmore than we'll do the demonstrations, because this is the best part of the whole thing. And this is why this is why I know I'm different than everybody else in the side games, right? So Friday night, they do all this stuff, right? We're doing the competition on Saturday. Chris Bledsoe has a sky watching event on Friday night. You had to pay to go. And that was completely cool. I thought maybe we could kind of get in, me and some other people that maybe were a little bit rebel rousers. We kind of showed in. They asked us to leave. We left, no problem, no big deal, right? But we found out where they were to do it, right? So we go down, this is basically this big like up part of an elevated parking, right? Or forget what it's called, but like where they put the cars on top of each other. You know what I mean? And so it's on the very top of that, the top level of like a elevated car parking. So we go down to the bottom, and there's this big grassy area. So in the process of this, we've collected like 15 people that wanted to go, and then they got told, and we went basically the same place, just not the same height, right? So we collected, and then they found out that I was going to be one of the perceptualists. So we get to talking up on top. I don't pretend to know what they did in that, but we can hear that maybe they have a megaphone. We hear syllables every now and then. But like, we're down on the grass. We have music playing. People are dancing. They're asking me all these questions. We're also trying to get the orbs to come. You know what I mean? And so what happens is we get this crew of about 30 to 35 people that are like super into me. They're super happy. They now know me a little bit. I know them. So we go into Saturday, right? And, you know, it's the side games, and a lot of people meditate. And I go off adrenaline and focus, and like I do meditate.
Intuition as well.
Intuition, just intuition, adrenaline, and just knowing you're going to do it, right? Knowing that you are going to do your best, and this outcome is. I'm trying to also influence the outcome by my energy of making it happen, right? So, long story short, they do remote viewing first. I'm not a part of remote viewing. They have everybody in these desks with these sound barriers, and it's all on this computer. And so they can't even see what's going on around them or hear what's going on around them. But then everybody else sees the AI generated image on these two big screens, right? So we all see what they're trying to draw. They can't see anything other than their screen. And and we see live what they're writing compared to the image, right? And so when I do my remote viewing, we do it in basically the same way. We use an AI generated image. You can go onto my Instagram or my Facebook. I've started posting them a little bit on my YouTube, but you can see like what that remote viewing looked like. I don't know that they posted everything from the side games. I think you can buy the side games video. I know that they asked that people didn't videotape, but I think there might have been some people in the crowd like, oh.
Dahlia did send me some videos of the spoon bending, just because she was nice. But the camera, the angle wasn't great. I couldn't see everything around. It was definitely from a cell phone. I don't know if it was from the games or just some demo she was doing.
Dude,
with her
I'll before I forget, I'll try to send you some from the games because the thing is that my wife wasn't even allowed to bring her phone in, but I pump up to music straight up, straightway. I go onto a gate with music. I literally did a dance off. I Star-Lorded it out for all 8 hours of the PSI Games, dancing it in because that movement's with just that adrenaline, right, is what keeps me moving. So I'm sitting there dancing. I got my music, so I've got my cell phone. And so my wife was holding my cell phone. She's like, "Oh, Ryan's been the championship." You know what I mean? So I've got a couple videos, and Akeem knows. I've shown him. So, but I don't think he lays them all out. But so, long story short, we do remote viewing. It was amazing. I think it was a guy. Oh my gosh, I just had his name on the tip of my tongue. But there was a gentleman from Australia or England, I think, who won remote viewing. It was amazing. Super cool to see. Everybody at this point, though, is like, "Oh, okay, it was close. It wasn't an exact, right?" So everyone's still like, So then they do precognition. And precognition was one I was competing in. They did both individuals and teams. So I just did individual. Ends up coming up to just me and this guy named David Tran. Literally, we are battling. And so this is my first game up, right? So that same crew of about 30 people, and my wife's out there giving me track talk. She's like, 2 minutes. You know what I mean? And telling me on the timer. So I get the audio of where I'm at in time, because I'm just trying to go on this computer thing, just doing what I think it is, right, left, gold, target, non-target, right? And the more targets you get in a row, the more of a bonus you get, right? And so long story short, she's yelling at me. She starts cheering a little bit. No, the whole entire thing was completely silent during remote viewing.
Wow.
So my wife starts cheering for me. Then all of a sudden, this group of people starts cheering. The room completely changes. Changes. Everybody starts cheering. The Monroe Institute people start cheering for their person. The room completely turns into cheering in an event, right? From completely silent. And it was because of being
a competition. Yeah, you took it to a competition, and it's like being on a motocross. Everyone's cheering for
exactly. So I feed off that, and I think everybody else is kind of what is all this noise and distraction? And I'm like, yeah, send it, let's go. You know what I mean? So I get up there. I end up having kind of a brain fart at the end. I end up losing by 12 points, which was probably 3 questions. And me and this David Tran guy, we were substantially above everybody else even. So it was and everybody did great. Don't get me wrong. Every competitor.
What kind of questions are there?
So it was is the target left, right? Is the target right, wrong? Is the target blue or red? So basically, and I'll kind of show you why here in a minute, but it wasn't predicting the future. That was more of another game. But this was right, wrong, left, right, being able to call. So if you could do 3 rights in a row and those were all right, you would get extra bonus. So it is precognition, but it's just very simple precognition, right or wrong, right? And the more rights you get, the more of a bonus you get. And it had to be
you ever seen the movie Minority Report?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so that's what I think when I think about precognition, people.
Dude, Minority Report or Demolition Man, all those movies are going to be coming up on us real soon, man. I'm telling you.
I totally agree. Yeah.
The social credit thing, I think, is the next thing to come. Anyways, so we do that, right? And I got second, and I totally, that's exactly where I need to be, and it was amazing. They then do Mindsight. Or actually, I back up. They did Dowsing. So once again, I still am second in Dowsing. They didn't let me do Dowsing just to make sure that I think they brought in. I mean, we're talking. I think there was 40 competitors from around the world.
So they want to make sure everyone gets a chance, right?
And so the fact that I even got to do 3 of the games compared to, I think the most they let anybody do is 3, right? And so they put me in the hardest ones, of course, but at that time at least, because I feel like Dowsing was pretty easy. For me, it would have been easy. It was still, so Dowsing went well. They ended up having an individual winner and a team winner. And so they had these wooden planks that had metals underneath them. And you had to pick the correct metal plank by using your hands or your dowsing rods or your pendulum, right? And they did a couple of different rounds with that. And then they did another one where they used an image on a USB. And so they were asking like, where is the baseball image on USB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And so that was another way that they did dowsing. That was okay. I didn't get to be a part of it. It was still cool. Next one up was Mindsight. And so they did 2 different versions of Mindsight. So the first version was similar to this game I'm going to show you guys here. Bring this down just a bit. The difference is that it was a pit.
Is Mindsight just seeing with your eyes covered?
Yes.
Okay, because this has been on my bucket list to learn for a very long time, and I didn't know that's what it was called.
I can teach it. So let me bring this down just one more time because I want to show the table.
Please teach me.
So I'm gonna hunch down here a little bit. So long story short, they had a board that was very similar set up, except the donuts were colored and the pegs had a color on it, and you would match the red donut to the red peg, right? So basically the same idea as this. This board I have, you put the color into the correct thing. The shapes don't really matter to me. It's just about the color, right? We do this. I end up having, like I said, the 3-tie break off with this woman named Tammy. I ended up winning. I ended up getting second overall. That game, I actually won that game. I ended up doing so well in the second, but I'll tell you that in a second. So let me just tell you this. So I'm in the individual. Dahlia's in the team for vision without eyes. Dahlia crushes it, get 100% accuracy in like less than a minute, right? And
wow. Yeah, she's something.
Yeah, so I get about 15 out of the 25, and it took me the entire period, the whole 3 minutes, right? So I still feel like I did well, but so that was that game, right? And so they go on to a yardage, I guess would be the way to put it, is they had like a football field yardage, like literally a football field for like your backyard or a garage or something. I think it went up to 30 yards, the length of the stage. And they had you start at one end and you were calling out colors all the way to the other. So at this time, I still have intuitive mindsight. I'm not really seeing with my eyes anything, right? So I get down the stage. I ended up getting me and this other guy named Jeff ended up getting down the stage, but not off the stage. Dahlia goes down the stage, off the stage, through the people, all the way to the wall on the complete other side, and is still calling out 2 at a time.
Wow.
And so blows it out of the water, right? And so it's once again, man, like if in I'm sitting there in the same fucking mask. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and I'm sitting there thinking I'm Captain Psychic because I just got my picture taken and cried on stage. Dahlia comes up. Dude, I felt so bad for this guy named Steve because Steve only did one game and his was Mindsight, and he went up against Dahlia and he had no idea that Dahlia was just crushing it.
She's like the Michael Jordan of that.
Dude, it's exactly. And so he when he finally gets done, he's like, and he looks at hers, he looks at his, he's like, just bowed out, right? And so probably the most gracious way he could have done it. But I mean, you see something like that and you can't come back from seeing that, right? Like I'm in the game with her and she just destroys everybody, right? And
yeah, I want to give a little context to her quick for people who don't know who she is. She's got this special needs daughter who's really, that doesn't describe her well at all. Her daughter is absolutely brilliant. And the way that she was able to give her daughter as much life as she's been able to is that they read each other's minds. Yeah, literally. And now her daughter's like has a boyfriend. She's like she's an artist. She's able to speak through her mother, and it's incredible. What if history isn't linear? What if civilizations rise and fall again and again? Discover the shocking truth in Deja Vu. Has Everything Already Been? By my friend Alexander Cheshkovich. Grab your copy now on Amazon. The link is in the description below. And subscribe to Dave's Multiverse on YouTube, Spotify, and Rumble today so you don't miss a thing. We did have a little technical glitch there. We're back. But go ahead, Ryan.
I'll tell you one more thing real quick. So I told you all the stuff about Dahlia and Mindsight. Let me go sidetrack real quick. So part of the testing for Mindsight actually was that we had to show, like I'm on video with you guys live. I had to show Akeem that I could do it live with the mask and do it all, right? So I'm literally racing bicycles in this place called Elgibel, Colorado. I'm on the gate. Of course, like I've timed it so I wasn't supposed to be racing. It was supposed to be ended. They have a kid get hurt. Of course, the timing is perfect for me to be on this gate, like literally on the dropping gate. As I'm supposed to be doing this Mindsight with Akeem, my wife's got the phone. She's like, Akeem's on the phone. The guy, and like the bicycles are like pretty chill. So the guy's like, do you want to jump off? Do you want to wait? Like, what do you want to do? He's like, I'm like, no, just drop it. And I'll go to the bottom and I'll jump on, right? So he drops the gate. I end up getting second in the race. I literally drop my bike. My wife's at the bottom. She hands me the phone. I jump on. I put the mask on. I'm literally still sweating. I haven't even got
hilarious.
Right. And so I jump on the thing, dude, and I blow up the internet. I because I'm so like straight up, dude, I affect electronic. Like I blow up my car. I blow up our breakers here when I get pissed. And or like really amplified, like super, like, yeah, you know what I mean? So I like jump on
this shit down.
Dude, everybody, including Dahlia, was there. All the people that did Mindsight were there trying to test. They're all in the flow. They've at least had one shape go up, and I blow it all up when I jump on, right? And so we have to reset everything.
It was your adrenaline, right? Because you're doing it from a different place, right?
It's just that's what makes shit happen. You know what I mean? Just I gotta do it. You know what I mean? So I get over there. They all have to reload. I just want to tell you that, dude, because like it's just like I don't make this up. Like every perceptualist saw it. And then finally, when we get back on, my wife gave me my trophy because she ended up getting my bike and my trophy thing. So I'm like, sorry guys, I got this trophy. You know, they don't know who I am yet. They just think I'm just some dude that just wasted their time after they got in the zone. You know what I mean? Another Happy Gilmore instance. So I just want to tell you that real quick. So we do Mindsight at the PSI Games. It goes great. Dahlia and Lidu do their telepathy demonstration after that.
Which that's what I saw at Contact, which was pretty amazing, and everyone was like pretty in awe of that.
Dude, it's one of those moments too where like and you had people in tears because of how powerful it was, and just and there's not too many ways to cheat that. I mean, like you can't magic that. You can't lie about it. You know what I mean? And we know the people that were in the thing were random, not like spectators pulled out from a specific spot that knew what was happening, because we were sitting everywhere and we met all those people. You know what I mean? Like it was all real. You know what I mean? And so we do that. They come back. We do so I've talked about precognition, Mindsight. So then they wrap it up after it with psychokinesis, which is the one I actually won. And dude, this was my biggest Happy Gilmore moment. So they use what's called an Igley wheel, and as my thing falls there, that's all right. So I have an Igley wheel is a device specifically for like energy, or like I'm realizing that my table's bouncing here. So what it does is like senses your energy, or it senses all these different things, right? You could say G. I like to say it collects magnetism, right? Basically what it is it's this really frail, like paper, like wheel with these spokes with a little bit of an outside. I think the outside lip is made of like maybe a thin piece of metal and maybe plastic to help it keep its shape. And it sits on a bearing and it spins, right? And so the reason that I say all that is that when you turn it on, I think just like a motorcycle speedo, like on an old school bicycle that has a speedo on it, it has a thing that goes on the spoke, and every time it goes around that, you can kind of get a reading. Yes. I think it's the same general. Oh, here we go. I'll put it back. I think it's the same general idea, right? So in the PSI Games, we don't just do it open. It's basically like a painter's box or like a sander's box. So it's in this sealed box. It's got a glass top. So you put your arms in and you're making this thing spin according to how they're telling you, right? So for 2 minutes, you're going to spin it clockwise. For 2 minutes, you're going to spin it counterclockwise. Then you're going to have it stop. Then you're going to go as fast as you can one way. Then you're going to go as fast as you can the other. Then stop. And there's this computer program, the same way that there's like this big thing talking the whole time. projectors, right? That's also how you're being told how to do it, right? And I'll send you some videos so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But basically, you're in this controlled environment, this controlled air environment, right? And you're making this thing move
with your mind.
So since then,
with your mind,
with your energy,
you're spinning it with your mind and your energy.
Correct, right? And especially in that box, right? Like right now, there's open air. When I train people to this, people that aren't used to it and have not learned how to I'm going to try not to use crazy words here, but when you can get your energy flow, for me, man, my energy flows from my heart and like through a wave through my arms into my hands. And then in my hands, you kind of have these you can kind of battery store it, or you can kind of have it come out your palms and your fingertips. I hate to say it like that, but it really is. Your palms are like the engine and your fingertips are like the direction, right? And they can push and pull energy in and out, I guess would be the way to put it. So what we typically would do is I use a mask. So like my son, I usually have my son do these demos because, dude, what's also important to me, like I said, is that the kids do it too. And I think that's important to Hakeem and all these other people that are in the PSI Games right now. Is I think they're going to have a kids division this coming year. Man, that's going to be the craziest. I've signed my son up for it. My youngest, my oldest is like, I got a job. I want girls. You know, he's like not about that. But my youngest is still all in, and he can do the Igloo wheel. He can do it open, but then he'll use a mask, right? So that we don't get the wind interference, so that you're trying to control it as much as you can. When I do my videos or when I train, I actually train, when I do my video training with folks, I actually use that one. And when I do, so I do a training with folks online. And when I do like a lot of my demonstrations, I'll put glass over my wheels, just so that there's no wind, there's no movement. Breath. You know what I mean? And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create like a positive and a negative energy in my hand and trying to get that energy to flow in between them to where I can make this Igloo wheel move under glass, right? And so like I'll just try to do it real quick. We'll just do a really quick demonstration. I'm not going to sit on this because even when this is amazing, it's just a wheel spinning. Right. You know what I mean? So outside of the PSI Games where you have all the excitement and everybody's cheering, when I show you guys here, it's just going to be a wheel spinning. So this is the least lackluster. Amazing. Yeah. So I'll show you guys here under glass just real quick. We're going to try to make it go counterclockwise. That's my strongest way. Come on. Is it showing it at all? It might be subtle. I'm not really in the mood. I haven't danced. I usually dance.
We can pause or something if you want to get yourself in the zone.
There's a hair on it. Give me just one more second here. Come on, man. Start to go. There we go.
Oh yeah, I see it. Can you see that, Megan? He's moving it.
Yep.
So
what the
so once again, man, I usually dance. Straight up, dude. Rhythm is a dancer is my song.
Rhythm is a dancer.
Dude, dude, no, seriously, I like 80s dance music or like real hard like dubstep. Like I like White God Unite. Just movement, dude. Getting that adrenaline going is what gets it for me. So when I'm sitting here like, oh, hey guys, and talking, my adrenaline's not up so much, but I just want to show like I'm moving this thing under glass, folks. And so like, just so people can see, like, I'll just take it apart just real quick. Well, I'll show you guys. This one's harder to take apart, but it's basically the glass on top of like candle. So it's elevated from the glass as well. So like there's no way any air is getting in and it's sealed up into it. So that's how you can see it. And I use that too. So when I do the demos like this, people can see it and it's not inside that. It's a candle holder, straight up. Candle holder with the candle lid and an Igloo wheel on top, then glass sealing it all up, right? And then once again, the Igloo wheel here is just, I'll usually do it on a flat table. I won't typically do it on like a wood table where you get all the creases and you can get imperfections. But I'll do the same thing on the table here. So that was just me taking it off. But I wanted to show you guys that I can move it under glass. That's like I know that people that see this stuff, when you do it open, it's not as impressive. There's wind influence. There is these things that skeptics. Once again, man, I try to prove skeptics wrong, or try to create these things where skeptics have the least amount they can say, right? Mm-hmm. So that's psychokinesis. That was the Igley wheel. I did that inside of a painter's box. I got it to go every way. I got it to go super fast. Ended up winning by a couple of points. Oh, there was a tie for second. And dude, life-changing moment. Everybody's losing their mind. I had this one kid named Kid of Wonder, who's Theo is actually going to be one of the announcers at this year's PSI Games. And so he came up and gave me a hug and wanted me to sign his perceptualist badge. And just it showed me that like, even though this is kind of woo-woo, like it's hitting the kids, right? The kids are thinking this is cool, especially if you got the Moto kind of X Games dude doing it. And not the like, kind of more bohemian teacher, that looks
right.
like you know what I mean?
You're
if you have
kids that they can have superpowers. Like, what kid wouldn't be?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
What adult wouldn't be into this? Like,
dude, everybody that, and like, here's the thing, dude. My Moto community was not asking for psychic stuff, but they are so interested now because they're like, dude, we know who you are. Like, what is all this now? You know what I mean? And now their eyes are open to it. And they see me do it, and they know I'm clinical, and they know I'm not bullshitting them, right? Like, dude, never doubt a Moto dude, because a Moto dude will make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, if we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
One thing I find super fascinating about you and how you do it is you're doing it on, like you said, adrenaline and energy, where I've always understood this to be like a mindful, focused intention, where you're kind of the opposite, but it shows that the ability can exist in either direction, right?
And dude, and here's I want to show a couple more things, but I just want to say this because this is what's most frustrating for me as an individual, as Ryan. A drink of alcohol is going to affect me when I don't ever drink, way different than it's going to affect a person that drinks all the time. And we can be the same way, same intelligence, same education, but that drink's going to affect us different, right? Uh-huh. The Tylenol or the Ativan or the Seroquel is going to, you're a social worker, you know all those bad boys.
I do.
Those are all going to hit people completely different. And it could be the same dose, but it's not one thing that works across the board, right?
Right. That's a really good analogy, actually, because everyone's different. Everyone's biochemistry is different.
Exactly. And it's so frustrating to me because a lot of the legacy of this group see me coming in and I'm posting these videos of how people can train to do it themselves, and I'm showing it for free, and I'm not charging thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And so you asked about kind of catching the crap, man. That's where I think I've caught the most crap, is because I'm like, I'm going to put it for free on YouTube, because for every single person that was like made fun of me when I had the weird hair, or I made, when I had somebody try to dim my light, when I said that I knew that I could do something, or I was psychic, or I had these abilities, every single one of those people is exactly why I post those videos, so that other people that do think that they can do it know that there are other people that can do it and will also be there showing them, but also to like every one of those people that said that it wasn't real or all that kind of stuff. Like, I literally showed the entire process starting in April through the PSI Games, through literally day by day. I post daily. So like, everybody can see my progression, and like, that's what's just the most important to me, is like, I'm not trying to make this a mystery or mystic, because I think that's the other part that kind of hurt the PSI stuff. If to learn the PSI stuff, you're having to pay lots and lots of money to a trainer. Yes, that's good. And don't get me wrong, I am a professional motorcycle racer, and I would like to get paid for my professional time. I put a lot of time and energy into it, and I totally understand. Right? But when you're talking about something like reading or writing or a human ability that's within us, you're not trying to train, in my opinion, once again, this is just Ryan, You're training someone to read. You're training someone to do math. You're training a basic skill that I thought everybody should have and like, can have. And that's just it, right? Like nobody, like I think, don't get me wrong. Michael Jordan is the best at basketball, and there's definitely a talent aspect of that.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Put in all that work.
Yeah, you do have to put in work. Like it's like that player that's not Michael Jordan, and then he makes the NBA because he works really hard. But there is a spectrum of ability when it comes to this, right? Like just like anything, though. Like
exactly, just like anything. Dude, don't get me wrong. Dahlia spanks me at mindsight. I have good mindsight. I can do it, but Dahlia would So I'll even kind of show you guys here in just 1 second, because I keep talking, I keep distracting. But we did show one game so far. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Dowsing is not that impressive to show, but I will show you my materials of how people can do it, so people can do it themselves. Very, very simple, guys. Are these my normal ones? These on the bottom must be my normal ones. Yep. Guys, dowsing, super simple. Cups that are numbered as targets, right? And you would place metal targets under your cups. Don't look when they're moving the cups around, and have a partner move a target under maybe 3 cups or 6 cups or 12 cups, however you want to do it, right? And so we do it up to about 12 cups with about 3 to 4 targets. Then we'll use all these different cups, and not the clear ones, obviously. The clear ones are for beer pong. But we use that to train dowsing. And once again, dowsing as like a thing to watch is not that impressive. I have videos of me doing it. Once again, you're feeling where the target is, or if it's a random number generator, if you're picking if it's target 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you know what I mean, kind of thing. You're intuitively knowing where that target's going to end up, right? And so now comes my 2 favorites. So we're going to do a little bit of mindsight, because we can't really do remote viewing in a time frame. And then everybody can look up my videos on remote viewing. We've done the psychokinesis. Know that in 2026, if you think you're going to be a PSI Games person, you're going to have to learn how to do the Igloo wheel under glass. If you can't do it under glass, it's going to be hard for you guys. So just anybody knowing for 2026, get your Igloo wheels under glass, guys. Sealed glass. And then we're going to do precognition and mindsight. You guys are going to learn that you guys are psychic right now.
Sweet.
So
I had a feeling.
we're going to do a little old school, now that I'm a psychic champion, now of course I love 11 and Stranger Things, right? So we're going to bring back a couple of the Rainbow Room classics. Dave, I want you to tell me, I'm going to stop on top. You just say stop, then say red, blue.
Say either or, pick one.
Yep, so just tell me when to stop moving on the top, then say red or blue.
Okay. I'm not even going to look. Stop, blue.
Blue. Oh, we're going to give you one more.
Maybe I'm not psychic.
We'll just try one more time. Dude, we're gonna do this till you're psychic, all right?
Stop, blue.
Blue. Come on, blue. Blue! You're at least half psychic.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Megan, you try that.
Here, Megan, yeah, you got to go. Megan, tell me when.
Okay. Stop. Blue.
Blue. Oh, okay. We're gonna do it again. Tell me when.
Okay. Stop. Red.
Red. Oh, Megan. All right, I'm just gonna do one. Red. Okay. All right, well, of course. So something as simple as like this board can help train you for that precognition of learning like a left or right or wrong, precognition, right? Dude, not to say this is how you should learn how to gamble in Vegas, but if you can get good at black and red, I mean, I'm just saying. Okay. Maybe stocks, maybe if you could do stocks in like green and red, something like that. You know what I mean? Like you could get pretty good at this kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys real quick. I usually have, well, let's not do this, but I'll explain this real quick. So in the side games, like I said, you would dump all these out. They have rings on a post. I have slots with colors. Apparently, I messed up on a blue one and the yellow the last time I did this. But basically, what I would do is I would get into the mind fold. I would set a time, and I would put them in. I can do it with you guys. I just don't want people to think that I'm not messing them up. So I can try to do this as best I can by myself. But I do want to show two things just real quick because, dude, this is what I want people to see, right? So it's just me. I'm just trying to prove, right? So it is just me and my puppies in this house. There is nothing under this table. It is just a wooden table. And make sure I get back
to see the puppies.
Oh, my one puppy's in my room. My other puppy's in her crate. That's where she just hangs out. So nothing in my pockets. I have nothing attached to me anywhere. I can show you guys my booty, but there's nothing in my pockets back here. Once again, there's nobody else here. I just want people to know. This is the part where I want people to know it's like for real, dude. So like straight up, I've shown my house a couple of times. Nobody else is in the house. There's no mirrors that I can see to reflect off stuff. So we're just going to do it the best we can.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm going to put my pockets back in. All right. So we're going to put these on here. And I don't typically set myself up. So I'm going to try to set myself up. Red is on the right. All right. So I'm going to do my best to not scatter these everywhere. Let me put this down too so people can see. And I'll move this back and we'll try to keep this circle. Yep. Okay. So you guys can see all of them. So I'm going to put on the mind fold. So the mind fold is the mask that we used in the side games. People, if the mind fold is, well, let me back up. So the mind fold, this is an unmodified mind fold. So what it has is it has compression foam all the way around that seals around the eyes, seals around the nose, and seals above the forehead with a plastic front. So there is no way to see out of this blackout mask. That's why the side games use this mask in specific, right? And so the other thing I want to say is that even dirt bike goggles use that compression foam to keep dirt and dust out. It does the same with light. It's funny because my buddy Lights Over Loveland, Justin, did this training with me. He had never done anything like this before. He had this epiphany night with me training, and then he did this like thing about people talking smack on the mind fold or being able to see through, because like when you have those real moments, man, it is real, and you become motivated to show people. And so I just want people to know exactly what we're doing, so nobody thinks there's any tricks, bells, or whistles, right? And so because this is going to be kind of our coup de grace moment as well, because we'll end on Mind Sight, because I think we covered all the other games, Dowsing, precognition, and we'll do precognition,
psychokinesis,
and so I'm going to put on these blindfolds as well. Once again, these are from Amazon. I get the black ones. Oh, there we go. They're just eye patches from Amazon. They're brand new, obviously. And they seal up about a ½ inch all the way around. So we're going to hope that because I'm not up dancing around that my mind sight will kick in. I'm pretty sure it will. We're going to get that one in, and then we'll do our next one.
Seem like you got your energy flowing, so
we're doing all right. We're doing all right. I messed up your podcast earlier, so we'll be all right. Something will happen here.
It's really wonderful to see somebody so just like passionate about literally everything they can get their hands on.
So just so people know, I like seal up around the nose. So I don't want people thinking anything about that. We'll kind of show everybody here. They're sealed up all the way around. I'll show them when I pull them off too. The like
you took those directly from the package too, so
correct. Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna make sure I don't put my mind fold on upside down because I've done that before.
You're good.
Okay. So If you guys want to do, I need a little bit of adrenaline. So one of you guys has to give me a 45-second timer.
Like counting backwards?
Or just like on a watch or something. But yeah, counting backwards. I'm going to get right up in here. I make this super attractive. You guys will see up my nose. Just to show that like we're sealed, right?
Yep, she's putting on a timer right now.
You just tell me when to start and if I should give you any like updates of the time.
Just do a 45-second timer. Let me know when there's 10 seconds left, and just give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown to before.
Okay, just to continue how hard you've done with the blindfold.
Let me do one thing real quick.
Your mask is like a little bit off-centered, and I just don't want anybody claiming that you can.
Which way?
Move it to your right.
Yeah, and down a little bit.
And then down a little.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're good now. Yeah. Looks legit.
Okay.
And then you just mix them up.
Yep. So the mask looks good though?
Yeah.
I don't want people saying shit.
I just want to make sure nobody has.
Yep. Nope. I would appreciate you telling me that. So you give me that 3-second countdown, I'll go for it.
Oh, great. I'm on the timer. Okay.
This is cool.
45 seconds. Starting 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait. No, I had it on 45 minutes. I just tripping you up there. Sorry. Okay.
You're all good.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, fingers. Come on, Ryan, pick him up. Faster, dude. You're slow.
10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Yeah.
I don't think you've missed one yet, so.
Oh my God, I missed. Oh, shit.
Oh, but you called it. Okay, timer.
One more.
Oh, I saw 2. All right, well.
So close, but you can still try them.
Yeah. So we'll come out of it real quick.
Almost 100%.
I missed one at the end, didn't I?
No, you missed 2.
Yeah. And I think you called the other one that you got wrong too, like right after you let it out of your fingers.
So wow. My sight's
I'm very impressed. I know you usually do that better, probably, but usually you have music and shit like that to get you
exactly. Dude,
can you actually see the colors as if they're in front of you, or are you like feeling it energetically, kind of?
A little bit of both. So just like when you drive, you don't just use your eyes, you don't just use your hands, you're not just using your ears, you're using all of them to drive, right? And you're getting a better sensory overload. So I'm trying to physically see through the mask to get that 3D vision coming through. I'm feeling with my hands for like emotions or colors or heat. I'm just trying to use every sense I can to try to pick out. And so like when I've done this in the past, if I just go color by color, I can't do it in under a minute. But if my brain can find like all the yellows, so we'll do all the yellows at once, all the oranges, and my brain can process that much faster to where we can get right around 45 seconds to a minute, which is where the PSI games will be. So apparently I can't get them all correct, but
I did better than I would have done. So let me ask you, because I seen Dahlia do this too, but you're kind of moving your head around because you see better through one side than another, or
honestly, man, for me it's kind of a shark effect. The more movement I get, the more feedback I get from my surroundings, so I can tell where things are, or if there's heat or emotion. Which also is why I dance and do all the movement, dude. When I'm stagnant, I'm not getting any feedback from my surroundings, if that makes any sense. Is that crazy? That's crazy.
Well, I definitely understand what you're saying. What's very interesting to me is it's a different approach. It's like trying to think of a good example, but like just learning how to do something.
Muay Thai compared to karate compared to boxing, right? They're all martial arts, but they're just doing it different ways. Yeah.
Great example. Yeah. That was wild. Because here's the thing. I was thinking the whole time. I was thinking he's talking to us, but he's memorizing where these things are. And then you mix them up. Then you put fucking 2 eye patches on. Then you put the mind sight goggles. And then we made you move the mind sight goggles over.
Right.
You went right to each color. And they were mixed up. Like you didn't know where they were.
Because it's not necessarily about the where the things are, right, or where the mask is. Because honestly, with the eye patches on, man, I can't see shit anyways. Right. So the mask is just an extra layer, really, to help people understand that, like, once again, we're sealed into a 1/2 inch. We won't do a ton because I don't exactly know how I'm going to do, because I do this for real, so we may not get very many. If you want to. Well, colors are coming. So straight honesty, right? Colors come through in a blur. So I can kind of see colors without much definition and be pretty accurate. With the cards, I really need to be able to see pretty accurate. Let me just kind of work myself in here a little bit. I'm going to try to just do a little movement.
Just FYI, while he's doing that, he had Megan and I each bring a pack of playing cards. So we're going to do something with those right now.
Yeah.
If you this is also over the internet, so which makes it maybe a little bit more difficult, I think, too.
If you want to put a card up, I'm going to try to catch the card.
You go, Megan. You go first.
Okay, I'm going to pick a random one out of the deck.
And you want her to show it to the camera?
Yeah, show it to the camera, but then just tell me when you have it up.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
That's a weird cat too.
It's inverted for the camera.
Let's flip your camera. Give him a better chance.
Again?
I'll do it.
Okay. It might be a little bit tricky because my cards don't have the traditional colors.
What I'm getting is like a black card.
Yeah.
Yep, you got that. And it is she gave you a tough card to do. I'm gonna be honest.
Because I picked it totally random.
Well, also it's like you said, it's not traditional.
Is it a 2? It's a black 2, maybe?
No.
Try another one.
This is extra tricky. Okay, Dave, do one of yours if they're traditional cards. I feel like that was a bit of a curveball.
All right. Ready? It's up.
Face card.
Yep.
Red.
Yep.
Key.
Oh fuck! He nailed that. All right, let me do another one.
Again with your cards, Dave. Mine are tricky.
Oh bullshit! Let me do another one. This is good. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
Red face card again.
Yeah, kinda.
Give me 1 second. Joker?
Yeah, you nailed it. I'm gonna
give you a red Joker?
It was
I don't even know if you can tell, I guess.
Yeah, the Joker itself is red.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So I know we've done a whole bunch, and I just showed, but let me show you guys real close here, right? Because I want to tell me if I'm in a if I'm in a good spot to take these off. Like can you see my whole thing?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we can, but I want to do one more that's not a Joker.
One more card.
That was a
trick.
Up for it. The Joker's trickier, and you did get it. All right. And it's up.
Come on, Ryan.
Let's go, Ryan. Let's go. You got this.
All right.
Ryan.
It's a black this time.
No.
No. Shit. Dude.
You were already ready to take them off. I feel like
I was ready.
Here, let's go.
A new one.
New one.
Diamond, red.
Yeah.
King.
No.
Diamond,
but close. You got the first two. It was
diamond, red.
Oh, I just told you.
I don't think he heard you.
Huh?
I just
accidentally
said it, but I don't think you heard me.
Oh. Here. But you guys get the point. Like,
Yeah.
It's not 100% accurate, but I'm pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You nailed the first one. Like,
Here, give me one more. I got one more. We can get one more.
Let's
Come
go.
on,
Let's go.
Ryan,
Let's go. I'm gonna
Ryan,
move these
Ryan.
around a little bit. All right, you got this, Ryan.
Ooh, you
What
got
is coming
this.
through? What is coming through? What is coming
up?
through? This is a black ace spades. Black ace of spades.
What the fuck?
We're gonna end on that one.
Yes, let's end on that one.
So I'm just gonna kneel down so I can make sure I'm on here.
Yeah, you're good.
So we're gonna take
That
the
was
mindfold
wild.
off. And then we're right up in here. And so I just want to make sure people can see.
Holy shit!
Right?
You straight up nailed 2 of them,
And-
and you got the Joker.
Yeah.
Which that's why I
And-
asked you. I asked you, should we take out the Joker? And you thought about it for a second. You're like, no, let's do it. You were up for the challenge.
Hey man, dude, I'm up for a challenge, dude. I'm a freestyle motocross dude. Tell me to send it, and I'll send it.
I didn't pull the Joker on purpose either. That just was totally random, by the way.
No, you're good, man. And so just so people know, just like I show my stuff. So on the back side of the mind site, we do both precognition. And so we typically use a thing called Zener cards too. So my mind is super trained to Zener cards.
Are those the ones with like the shapes? My sister
Yes.
had a set of these
Dude.
when we were younger.
Dude, the Ghostbusters cards, right? So we typically train with Zener cards. I do use regular cards as well, so I can call out like the suit and the number and all that kind of stuff. I would say so, like my regular bicycle deck. And so I just want to show people too, like this is the part that I want to make sure we get, right? So
Subscribe to
on
Dave's
these,
Multiverse
right?
on YouTube, Spotify,
I'm going to show
and
you
Rumble today.
my whole box, and I just want to show you like there's no ridges. Well, there's no ridges. There's no like indications of any of these compared to any other one, right? They're just yellow pieces of wood. These are just green pieces of wood, right? Like there's no braille. There's no magnetic. I don't know. People have said all sorts of crazy stuff. And so like my cards, once again, because dude, it's like haters will pick out everything. That's why I want to make sure like my cards, just once again, there's no creases, there's no ridges, there's no, and not to be weird, but to all the people that talk shit, they forget I'm doing this for a competition. I'm not just doing this to show, to say, hey, look at what I can do. I'm
do a trick in the park or something like that, because there to be fair, there's a history of charlatanness when it comes to some of this stuff. And when you're doing it for competition in a controlled environment with cameras everywhere and stuff like that, it's totally different. But that's crazy to me because you did that all over the internet. Like we were showing you cards over the internet. You got her show him your cards.
I tried to find the actual one that I held up, but this is kind of like what you were like.
It was black and gold. I saw black and gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't find the 9 now that I had.
But it was the same. It looked the same. It was like black and gold. And I was thinking, oh, how's he going to get this? And you immediately went black. I can't remember if you got the actual number right or not.
I don't remember, but I just remember seeing black, and I'm like, black and gold. What is this card?
I'm like, doing it over the internet, like how does that, like what kind of screen are you looking at?
Dude,
how does that affect it?
I gotta tell you. So I do this. That was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I do this thing with this company called Weird Technologies in England, and I actually trade with a woman in England, a handful of women in England, and I make this thing turn color, literally from Colorado. They have a thing called, so this company called Weird Technologies has a thing called a Weirdoscope, which is actually the same device that they use in the Phoenix at the PSI Games that would also collect all this stuff, right? And it would change and light up based on the amount of like harmonic, like it basically, it finds these frequency fields compared to the room, right? And so I'm able to match my frequencies here in Colorado to that machine in England and call out and make it turn colors.
Quantum entanglement!
Dude, for real quantum entanglement. And so I literally do that like at least once a week on Wednesdays. Literally, I'll do the podcast today, then I have to be up at like 3 a.m. Colorado time to be on this call in England to do this stuff with them. And so
Well, I do think our brains are quantum computers. That's exactly what they're doing. We're creating reality with our brain. That's science. That's quantum physics, right? Like when we look at something, it exists. When we don't, it exists, but it's in a waveform, right?
Dude, the Willy Wonka creating the castle around him. You know, not that he's Gene Wilder, but that new one where he walks in and the short guy's walking in and you see all the you see all the iconic Gene Wilder stuff being built in the newest one, right? Mm-hmm. Where all of a sudden the wall becomes the chocolate flow and you see all these things happening, and it's because you're envisioning it, right? Dude, I wish I could show you. Dude, I might just have to take you out to my garage. I literally built a 20-foot 3D dinosaur from the inside out before Jurassic Park and all these other things, the park redos like at Universal. Dude, I'm such a weird dude. But before any of that was there, I built these Comic-Con style costumes that just are 3-dimensional, right? Like I wear a 20-foot dinosaur and I'm inside of it, just like they do with Blue now. But before, this is like 2010. This is
we all need to be friends, to say the least. Dude. We are a very compatible type of weird, I'd say.
Do you have a video you could show of the garage instead? You could just share a video?
Yeah, dude, 100%. And I do a lot of my trainings out there too. But like it's Demogorgons and action heroes. It's like if I don't know if you're familiar with Mythbusters, but Adam Savage and his tested lab. If you took Adam Savage's tested lab and put it with a 90s Applebee's with all the flair on the walls, that's my garage. Except it's horror and like superheroes and dirt bike stuff.
Amazing.
Dude, so how long have you been training this stuff? That's my question.
So just specifically training since April.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and daily training, but like just since April, right? And so, and I think that's also like, I think people maybe train a couple of times a week or maybe here and there, but dude, I'm moto's in my blood. I train every day. Like, I don't get me wrong, man. I would still be moto. I'm still going to do a couple of races, but when I hit like my mid 40s here and I actually won, dude, last year was so successful. I won the PSI Games. I won Supercross. I won BMX, like championships, like big championships. So like 2025 was just my hot season. I like won my last race. My last race was the championship, and that also let me win the overall championship. So I'm like, dude, if racing was going to end and lead into this new part of my life, that's not so much social work and motocross and traveling and maybe some of the traveling still, but not moto focused, right? Between bicycles and all that stuff outside of my normal job. Like I think I can be the competitive psychic X Games guy. You know what I mean? I'll be the Travis Pastrana of Psy.
I like it because I tell you right now, with the injuries you've had already, when you get into your mid 40s, I don't know what age, and it happens differently for everyone, but all of a sudden one day you'll be like, oh, this hurts a lot more than it used to, or I can't do this like I used to.
Dude, I think the biggest thing is I had two friends. I had one friend who I've known for forever and raced with this dude for forever. He had a big crash and he got knocked unconscious, and luckily it wasn't too much more than that, but some broken bones. But just when he woke up and his eyes were all crazy, and I'm like, I've got all this Psy stuff going now, man. One more of those and this could all be gone. You know what I mean? And I had another guy who was racing outdoors. This guy did this with me in Supercross, like in New Mexico just this year. But this other guy blew up his heart in one of the like states around here, as aorta. So he had to have all these like big life-changing surgeries, and he's out this year, but he may not be able to return, right? Or at least if he's going to return, he'll return later on. And man, I just, my body's been through enough. I'm like, I'm just kind of over having to separate my consciousness for pain. I want to learn how to do it for all these other things, right? And so
so many other amazing things to put your energy into, creative hobbies, like you're developing your kids' abilities, your own abilities.
I just want to show you just two more things, and then I'll get off of it. So we showed the Zinner cards, right? And so Dahlia can read. Dude, this is the problem. When Dahlia is like pretty much straight up a superhero, and you're trying to train to match the superhero, right?
Right.
I can fly though. She can't fly. I can fly on my dirt bike. She can't fly. But like she can read, small reading, like writing through the mask, through the blindfold, and read like small reading. I'm not there yet, but I can read yap, you know what I mean? Or champ, you know what I mean? And target and vet and, you know, like all these things, right? And so I have started to try to be able to read. The thing is, dude, and this is where it's all like, I wish it wasn't this way, but it's like legit. I read when I do mind sight, it comes in upside down and backwards. So when you're looking at like a Zener card and a square is going to be a square, whether it's, you know, a square is going to be the same, whether you turn it, however you're going to turn it, the square is going to look the same. But when you put a word like yap all of a sudden looks like predator writing or like some ancient hieroglyph when it's upside down backwards, right? And so I've now learned that I have to adjust whatever I'm doing in my head to adjust for the fact that I'm mind sight dyslexic and upside down. I don't even know what you're calling it.
Yeah, I'm regular dyslexic, so I don't know how that would transfer into my
right? And I just want to show two more things. So we bring
all the things we want to see,
dude. Because I want people to know we're legit. So like when I do like a lot of my stuff, we'll use an EMF detector. I'll have them around the tables when I'm doing my stuff. I think that's the majority. I just want to show you one more thing. So we do. Me and my wife will play games like color games in the blindfold against each other. I have giant dice that we use and we'll play games. And so like, I think the main thing is, dude, is when it comes from a place of love and happiness and sharing, it's the same thing with the orbs, right? I hate to be like that, but the orbs are literally, I bring them in the same way, right? It's through happiness and love and just like unconditional
positive regard. Jinx.
Dude, you got it. And you're bringing it in and it's because you're coming from that place of non-judgment. You're not saying it can't happen to me, it can't happen to my family, it can't happen to any of us. I'm saying not only can it happen to us, but can you please make it happen to us? And you know, and this stuff comes in and you, dude, I'm telling you, my wife is, you know, my wife's family is very, very Christian, and I don't know how they feel about all this. And I know they watch some of these videos, but you know, my wife was never raised like that, right? And so she meets me. I take her to Vegas for the first time. She's never been to Vegas, dude. We were so freaking successful in Vegas, and so we were part of the MGM like M Card Club. We had like the platinum black because we won so much. Dude, and we would stay at like Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay had this like at the time this like house band called Steel Panther, which I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but it's like a band. And dude, me and my wife knew them. We knew like Satchel and Michael Starr and Sticks It In Ya and like all the other people from this spoof 80s band, to the point that like my whole family got up on stage, and my mom during her cancer had just had a double mastectomy. But part of what you do on the Steel Panther page is you go up and you go up and you do your thing at Steel Panther. And my mom did that, you know, with her double mastectomy, and like Michael Starr was like doing this whole big thing, and like, dude, it's just all these experiences, and it's just like, dude, I want to tell people you got to strive, right? You got to hustle sometimes to make things happen, and when you hustle, the work shows, right? And dude, there's talent, but hustle and training and effort and energy. Your mind matches your words, matches your actions. You're doing what you're saying and what you're feeling. You're meaning it, right? And when those things match, man, I can make things turn under glass, and I can come up with at least reasonably accurate predictions and just show that this stuff's real, right? And once again, I'm not trying to say I'm like some holistic teacher who teaches everybody how to harness all their stuff. But what I am saying is I have a ton of experience. I do have a clinical background in social work. I can help point people in the right direction. And I'm a pretty good coach and trainer, dude. And I just want people to see this stuff so that not only they think that they can do it themselves and try to do it themselves and know that like people can do this, but that it just gets the word out there, and it encourages and inspires people to go do it, right? When I make videos for dirt bikes, I want videos that inspire people to go ride or buy gear or go do it, right? I want people to see me doing this and go try, dude. I hope that each of you, when you put your cards down, you're going to be like black, red, black. You know what I mean? Because you can do it yourselves.
Yeah.
So one thing I really want to learn is the communicating with animals is also on my bucket list. I already feel like I have quite an intuitive connection with animals already.
I know I've been going for a long time, but let me say one last thing that's going to bring it to it. Promise the last thing. So in 2020, I saw a lot of death, right? I was a social worker in long-term care. I've been in long-term care this entire time. But in my entirety of probably a 20+ year, I've easily seen over 3,200 deaths, right? And during COVID, man, people I had known for like 10 years passed, and we're talking, you know, in a normal rotation in a long-term care facility, maybe you have 5 to 10 people pass in a month, right? And it's reality. I was also the admissions guy. Like, you got to keep people in, you got to keep the business going to provide the care. It just is the way it works, right? During COVID, dude, we were having half of our building clear out in a day. And these were people that I had relationships with and their families for months and months and months, right? And what I'm saying with this is like, this was, you know, pre-COVID and during COVID. It was a state requirement for Colorado that they had somebody bedside, whether it be a hospice provider, a chaplain, or a social worker, or potentially someone from the activity staff that sat bedside if we knew a person was imminent. There's like certain things that happen. Your body does gargling or the death rattle, and it does modeling, and these things that you just know you're imminent, right? And they're normal processes. They're kind of hard to talk about, but it's similar across the board, right? When you're the dude with telepathy, that's the social worker that's sitting bedside by those folks, you're feeling and seeing everything that's happening, right? And man, there's people that are surrounded by love that die with a smile on their face, and there's people that you can see that clearly they're afraid of what's ever coming next. And I have two more things I want to add to this, and it's all the same. So I don't think, you know, once again, I'm not very religious, but I do think there's like a consciousness version of like the pearly gates where your soul gets weighed. Is it going one way or the other, right? And I don't think it's like a heaven or hell. What I think is you get asked a question to yourself. Did you live your life to the fullest when you had the chance? Did you dance when you had the chance to dance? Did you do everything you wanted? Because if you did, man, you get to sit with an eternity of these memories and just knowing you went for it, and the good and the bad, you know that it was just the best it was, right? Or did you sit and maybe you didn't do all the things you wanted to do, and or you did bad things, you know what I mean? And now you have to sit with that for eternity. And maybe it's not a heaven or hell, but man, it's that sitting with yourself, you know what I mean? And that to me is why I just want to make sure that people are motivated to just live life to the fullest, man. And where I was going to go with the animals is when you see people in their final moments, there is an orange spark in the back of the pupil. I swear on my life, that is the life force, the fire, the pizzazz, right? And not like when people are dying, I'm like sitting there like, hey guys, you know, I'm staring into your eyes, but you're sitting there trying to comfort them, right? You're keeping their mouth wet. You're doing everything you can in that last moment to have them see whatever's next in as much of a peaceful way as they can, right? And so when that spark leaves, you can see that soul or that pizzazz, that fire, that animation of the body, that the soul leave, right? And where I was going with the animals is animals, even fish, I don't even care. Fish or anything that you could say has a lifeless eye, you can see the soul in the eye. And if you can communicate through the eyes, you can communicate telepathically. That's my 2 cents about the animals. Dude, even manta rays, when a shark looks at you, it's one thing, and you can see that shark looking at you. But dude, especially like mammals, like, and not to be weird, but like fish look at you differently than a mammal. A mammal sees you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just want to say all that. But when you learn, dude, when you have too much time on your hands, or you just never stop moving, except for like maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, like you learn how to communicate with animals, dude. I have a Boston Terrier named Love, and she's pretty much an apple with 2 grapes for eyes. And she is just the most expressive dog with her eyes. You can see everything that's going on in that dog's head, but just through her eyes, right? And so, dude, that was going to be my last 2 cents, but so much to know.
Well, it's a lot, but I think it's connected a lot to the theme of our show and the multiverse. And but the things that I wanted to highlight here, and I think is important to you before we end, is the importance of getting children involved in this,
Yes.
because children have much more neuroplasticity than adults do. And so that's exciting. And that's when you see what Lido can do. Then you're talking about how fun and exciting it is for your son.
Right.
That excites me because it is harder to learn stuff when you've got, like, I call it adult plaque, but it's like
Yeah.
you've got a program belief system, you've got trauma, everyone's got trauma.
Right.
And you're more like, it's like when you drive to work at a new job for the first time, you know exactly where you're going. You're paying attention to exactly
Right.
where you're going. The 100th and 500th time you drive to work, you're not paying attention at all.
Right.
And that's just becoming an adult. That's your brain, doing things on autopilot, so then it can now be an adult and like do other shit. Which is why, like, I think that getting kids involved is important. You said kids were going to be, there may be a children's division at the next PSI Games, which is exciting. Yeah. Now, Ryan, what's next for Ryan besides PSI Games 2026? I know you're excited about that, but what's next, man?
Dude, I mean, we're kind of jumping in full force. Like I said, we started the LLC. We do have a trading company. We have our first Orbs skywatching event this weekend. We're going to be out doing free trainings with folks that are coming out. I already know for a fact there's at least probably about 60 to 70 people coming.
Okay.
So it's going to be a big event right out of the gate. I think last year Justin had like maybe 10 or 15, and we're already just between between me and him putting it out, and then the people that own the property. It's going to be big. So I'm actually bringing my big moto trailer. I've actually like gutted all my moto stuff, not gutted, but rearranged it so we can go out and do these site trainings with folks for free to get them interested and get them involved. You know what I mean? And
Ryan? So you said you're not religious. You said you like UFOs and orbs and stuff like that. I got my I Want to Believe poster over there.
Yeah.
I've been interested in UFOs and shit. I've literally never seen jack shit. Megan's heard me say this a bunch of times, but I do believe that people can see this stuff. Some people. But what do you think those are? Like entities, energy stuff? What are these forms?
Because, dude, I try to keep the woo-woo out of it, and I try to keep it as like real and as like if I was documenting on my social services document, I wouldn't make all my own personal assumptions, right? Like I just wait to the facts, right? Dude, I don't know. They're red, they're orange, they're blue. They materialize and dematerialize. So Justin, it's funny, and I don't mean to keep bringing him up, but it's funny because like we have different ways of going about it, right? Justin's group of folks or orbs that he connects with are definitely higher. They're further away. They're more around the constellation of Cassiopeia or like that kind of area, right?
Okay.
My orbs look like they come up from the ground. There's nothing out by where I live. Wow. I live just north of DIA. So it's like fracking and highways, right? So there's just not much out here, right? And so my orbs kind of look like they come up from the ground and will like hover like very close, like in my neighborhood, and then kind of dissipate. And I have craft, dude. I'm telling you, go on my social media. I have like a Iron Man Ninja Turtle flying thing that flew like less than 200 yards from my house that I caught on video. Do you remember that? This is going to date us, but do you remember Johnny Five, the robot? It's like Johnny Five.
Of course. Yeah.
You remember his head?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We have these things that like fly because, dude, we like I said, we live just north of DIA. So when they land on the north pad, I live like over here, so they'll like fly over my house to come in and land on the north pad, right? Huh. So these things follow planes in. So when we leave, I'm like, gee, man, in Christmas, I hope none of these things are following us. And I've posted these videos, like I've caught them during the day and at night. And so
my woo wants to come out so bad, but I know you don't want to do that. But I just because you're thinking when you say you get yours come from the ground, seemingly one guy's comes from different constellations. It makes me wonder, like, if each human, like, biological entity is tuned into
Different
orbs, whatever the fuck they are, from different places or coming from different places. And that's fascinating.
You want to get real conspiracy, you could be like, some of these things might link to us, right?
Yeah, that's
exactly what you're saying. So, without going down too many crazy rabbit holes, man, I 100% know my crew. My crew will come up because I even I can videotape them. I videotape them all the time, and they're not in the right spot for satellites. They're definitely not planes, and dude, we live on some property, so we literally skywatch all the time. Me and my wife know planes and where these airports are and how they come in on their flight patterns. We know if Delta's running late, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of thing. So when these things come up over a completely different horizon, and maybe they only go about 200 yards in the air, and then they'll just kind of fade out. I don't know where they go, right? That's completely different than Justin's, who are definitely higher and will do all these crazy movements, but look like they're in that satellite range, if that makes sense, compared to mine are closer. I guess it'd be the way mine feel like mine try to get more intimate.
That makes sense though. I mean, you would know what you're looking at. You know what I mean? You've seen planes a million times and you can tell the difference. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and dude, it's a lot of times too. I'm just gonna straight say this: we've caught ships. Justin has caught the triangle ship. I've caught a V ship. We've blatantly caught them on video, and we both have posted them. They have certain flight patterns, just like the airports. They come from our north, and so Loveland's just north of us in Brighton. They come from our north and fly south more towards Colorado Springs and the Air Force bases and NORAD and all that shit.
I feel I don't want to go too conspiracy, but I feel like the government and they started studying this stuff in the 40s after World War II and during that time. And I feel like somebody knows more about this shit than the rest of us, right? I appreciate how you go. I don't fucking know. I don't know what they are. I just can see them. But it's fascinating that like you said, your crew.
Dude, it's usually the same area, and they'll show me different things though. I can ask them to stack on each other, and they'll stack on each other. It's crazy shit, man. And when you show that to a person that isn't expecting it or doesn't know what they're looking at, they're are you fucking summoning demons? What the fuck is happening here? You know what I mean?
Everybody around you sees the same thing when they're with you.
Oh yeah, dude. My whole family doesn't. It's not even a second thing to see right now because we just go out there so much, dude. And we're outdoors, right? We race. So when we race motorcycles in the middle of nowhere, you see all the sky, dude. We travel up to Lake McConaughey and this place called Glendo, and it's no light pollution, no pollution of the air, clear skies, and man, you know what you're looking at. Because you can see a satellite keep the same line, same consistency all the way across, right? Something isn't going doing all this stuff, been gone. You know what I mean? Or my orbs will kind of come up and do these flickering things or stack on each other to make shapes. I don't know. They must know I'm artistic compared to just wanting to see them. But
I have one more question because I want to fucking see something so bad, and I haven't seen anything, and it makes me wonder if some people just can't. Do you think that's true?
I don't think it's a matter of you can't see it because my wife, dude, would never be the one to see it, and she's seen it with. I think it's a combination of two things, dude. I do think there are flight patterns, so you have to be at least somewhere where in your sky you're going to catch that pattern, right? You're gonna catch them in some way. If you just live in a neighborhood, even if you're looking at Cassiopeia, but you've only got a little slot of window or trees or whatever you're looking at, you're not getting. Dude, I have literally a 180 view of all my sky. There's nothing out here. So I think your sky and light pollution play a role. But dude, I think it's also we're going out there with intention. It's usually not just me. It's usually a handful of folks. And honestly, dude, it's not we want to go out there and we're saying, hey, we want to see you guys. Please come show us.
That's what I do. I'm show me, please.
But it's also dude, we'll just turn on music and we'll bullshit and we'll just enjoy each other's company just as much as we're waiting for that to happen. And it's almost like when we come out like, oh, come on, I've only got 2 hours. I need to make it happen. Like it doesn't work. Right. And there'll be times too where straight up, dude, it's just like a race. I have all those trophies, but for each one of those trophies, I did like 10 other races where I didn't trophy. Right. And so, you know, if we go out every day of a week, we might only catch stuff 3 days a week, you know, and the other 4 are just cool nights to be out there. So, people that say they don't see them, I think it's just a combination, right? Dude, the same way that I know when the machines are going to hit, I have like more intuition of like, dude, we need to go out and watch tonight. Like it just hits harder, right? And so then I'll be like, let's go out and watch tonight because I think something's going to happen tonight. And there'll be nights where it's like, I'm just going to go to bed. Nothing's going to happen outside. I'm not worried about anything else because I guess it's just kind of that intuition too. No, you know, I mean, like, I don't know.
I think what I'm learning is that
because it's unexplainable, man. It's not a drone because these fucking things get close enough to my house. It's like
we saw the drones. We saw their drones, the United States technology in like what was it 2 years ago? When was that? We saw those, and that looked totally different than what other people described. They were. It's like you said. You know when you see a plane. You know when you see a drone. Like I have friends who saw those drones in person, and they weren't calling them orbs or anything like that. And you could tell it was mechanical, and things like that. So it's different.
This looks like a plasma light ball of energy that flashes different colors and maybe might have some sort of a core, but it's so far away and the light is so intense it's hard to ever see. Like straight description. That's how I would describe it. And when they get close enough, they look like maybe they're like the size of an overblown like beach ball, like maybe 3.5 feet. And and like my whole even my dad, the like probably the most skeptical has seen them. We've gotten them to come out and like present themselves at like public events. There's this place called Anderson Farms that always does this like haunted house, and they'll have like a big event. And we've gotten this like blue orb to basically shoot across the sky for like 100 people because we had everybody asking for it, and it happened. And like everyone's just like, all right. Half the people are like, we're out of here. The other half are like, dude, we want to know everything about it. You know what I mean? And so,
right. Ryan, I want to come visit you.
Can I go? I want to go.
Dude, we'll take you in the garage and have you jump some motorcycles in the backyard.
Sounds good. And bring me to see some orbs, but I got to be like, I like how you described it with a group of people. The intention is not, oh, please show me the orb. The intention is to go have a good time and connect with nature and connect with other humans and that kind of thing. What are these things, man?
I think they show up because they're like, hey guys, these guys are having a good time. Let's go join the party. That's what I always make that joke.
I would also personally love to meet your wife because she sounds badass.
Dude,
not gonna lie, you found like your person.
Dude, my wife's pretty badass, and I'm just gonna say this out front. She's not here right now to hear this. I wish she was. She's got more of a heart of a lion than I do, right? Because everybody's always known I'm crazy and I'm dirt bikes and I'm an artist and I'm all these things. My wife's a teacher and she's comes from this very religious family. And she supports me all the way, and you know, it's a whole different thing for her, and getting into all this. You know, it was one thing when I was just dangerous on the motorcycles. Now I'm all these other things, and she still is right there supporting. And my trainer Cheryl, who's been my friend since middle school, like she's been there, and so it's just been this group. You know what I mean? So gotta represent the people that build me up.
Yeah.
Community. Ryan, thank you so much for joining the multiverse, my friend. That was stunning. It was all stunning. Yeah, all of it. The cards blew my mind. Yeah. Plus, you have a very inspiring message and a very inspiring story. And I mean, you're definitely wore so many different hats, and I'm just so grateful that you shared them all into one cohesive message for us. And I'd love to talk to you again and meet in person. Maybe go check out PSI Games this year. But thank you again, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Subscribe to Dave's Multiverse on YouTube, Spotify, and Rumble today.